Yes, everybody, and welcome to High on Homegrown, the Cannabis podcast from PercysGrowroom.com. I am Macky from the UK, and joining us this week, we have John.
I'm here, and it's a beautiful day. Welcome, everybody. It's hot, 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 for you rest of you people in the world, apparently.
Rest of the world.
Yes, we also have Billy Barnes. What's up, Billy?
Yeah, man, it's been all right in Cornwall too. Strangely enough, we've had a bit of sun and some like 15 degrees type weather. It's been
Beautiful.
reasonable. So you're like, wow, what's going on here? This is probably the only sun we're have all year now. This is our summer probably. So
You know,
like, I better lap it up.
no,
while I
right?
can.
Oh, God, don't say it, Billy. Oh, but you're probably right, mate. This is it.
Yeah,
This is
mate.
the whole 2 weeks of summer that we're gonna get for the whole fucking year.
2 weeks.
Yeah, and then we also have Margaret. How's it going, Margaret?
I'm doing well. It is actually a little warmer here today. I left the house and went for a walk today for the first time in what feels like forever. So
Wow.
It's been lovely.
Was
2
there
degrees
snow?
Celsius. Oh yeah, there's still lots of snow, but
Wow.
we also have daylight savings time today. Yay!
Yes, indeed. So that's a little bit confusing for those out there who have had their daylight savings, who we haven't had it here in the UK yet.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I think
I hate
it's
it.
Yeah, when
is
do
it
you
the
have
end of the
yours?
month? I don't know. All right, it does it automatically nowadays. You know, the times change. It's like, oh, I slept in really good. Look at that extra hour. Or you know, oh man, I'm up early. You know, it's one of the two. Just the clocks change by themselves. Yeah. Apart from the one in the
They
car.
do. Except the one on the
Fuck.
stove or the microwave.
Yep.
Yeah,
I got one on the wall
Change
that
those.
doesn't change.
that's right. You got to leave them difficult ones. You know, like the microwave. Remember trying to change the VCR back in the day? It was like, no, just leave it for
Oh,
6
God.
months.
Oh
You know?
God, yeah, the VCR one. No, that was always horrible. They weren't they?
Mhm.
God.
You
There's
didn't
so-
just put like the piece of black electrical tape over top and just forget about it.
Of course.
I mean, that's the way
But
to
that's
do it.
that's what you did for 6 months, isn't it? Just cover it up.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Just ignore it. Don't check that clock for a while. Oh, gosh,
Exactly. Kind of like your car clock. Sometimes I don't change that either.
Mhm.
But
god damn. Now, here we are to talk about the cannabis news and events this week, and in the Grow Guides, we're talking about growing cannabis outdoors because here in the northern hemisphere, as we said, springtime seems to be coming. It's round the corner, so we want to start getting people ready in case you wanted to plan an outdoor grow this year, and not just outdoors, but guerrilla as well. If you wanted to do like a guerrilla grow, so we want to talk about getting ready for that and how to get prepared, how to grow your plants outdoors and get a nice harvest out of it. So that's the plan. But yeah, all wrapped up in 2 minutes. That's everything we got planned. What we smoking on? Do you have a nice
Well,
drink today,
vegetable.
Margaret?
no, I don't have a drink today.
Oh no!
Well, I have them. I'm just not consuming them right now.
Did you want to
Okay,
go get one?
okay.
You got
Oh, no,
the
no, I'll
peer
survive.
pressure. You know.
I have
Go get
lots
it.
here. I've got some edibles and some Romulan ale in the vape. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice. What you got, Billy?
I have something really nice. I have some cheesy McCheese face, and that is 90s cheese again. But I'm proper cheesy McCheese face because I made some fucking hash out of it. So I have cheesy
Ooh.
hash. And,
Damn.
yeah,
Cheese face.
fuck you. I have
Yeah,
cheesy hash.
cheesy McCheese face.
That's just fun to say.
Yep. So
It's funny how
Thanks.
that one internet meme just took over, and it Boaty McBoatface is where it
yeah.
first
Yeah.
came from.
Well, that's what they get. That's
Mhm.
what they get for asking the UK people to vote on a name for a boat, isn't it? Really, we're going to come up with something the most stupid thing ever. Do you know that they didn't name it that name after the competition?
You know,
And they went, and they went to the
Terrible.
court and law said, no, it's run as a competition, and because of competition laws, you have to run it, otherwise you're going to be sued like millions. So they had to
Holy.
name the boat that name. They had no choice, yeah, because it's an official competition.
That is
Voting for
epic.
face. I love it.
Brilliant.
yeah, man.
So that's the boat what goes up and down the Thames. It's called Boaty McBoatface.
That's right.
Google it. It's proper funny.
Oh,
What are you saying, John? What you
That's-
got this week?
Lemon Sky, baby.
Oh, cool. You're on the Lemon Sky
Lemon
again.
Sky.
Nice. Yeah, man. I don't know what I've got. It's just the same old shit all the time now, but it just gets more and more delicious every week. Been curing for like 5 or 6 months now. Gosh,
Holy.
yes, it's
Nice.
real good shit, man. It's so good, so delicious. So yeah, firing that up in the Mighty. Just putting some charge in the Mighty there. I should get it now. That's
Boy.
what I should do. Watch. Cue a little tune or something. Do do do
John will just sing for you.
Yeah, John's doing a good job.
There we go. Thank you, John.
He's
There you
doing
go.
a job.
I am back.
And we're
There
back.
we go. Yes, everybody hit your shit. Smoke, smoke. Well, what's been going on this week? I mean, like in weed. I was on Chad Westport's show yesterday. Was anybody there? I've seen a few guys.
No.
I wasn't.
Seen a few guys in the chat. Well, yeah,
I caught the end of it.
you just did a yeah. So it was late for you as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Usually you're in bed at that time. Yeah.
How was it?
Oh, it was good. You just chatting shit for a couple of hours. You know how I roll. You know,
Yeah.
just sit there and talk about random shit. We spoke about movies. I don't know. We spoke about loads of things. It was a good show, man. I always enjoy chilling and chatting some shit with Chad. So check that out on his channel if you haven't already. Just search Chad Westport. You'll find his channel. And then yeah, it's like 2 hours long or something. Yes, Mad Dog was there. Indeed, Mad Dog. Yes, he was. And Type 1 Grower was there as well. Yeah, it was a good show. Good fun.
Sweet.
You know?
Sweet.
What's going on this week, Mark? You got anything interesting going on Bite Me this week?
Well, as you know, as we mentioned before the show, I'm interviewing Vanessa Lavorado this week, and
That's
later
right.
this month, Michael R. Devilliers. I think that's how you say his last name.
Whoa.
So I have those coming up. And other than that,
Nice.
I am currently just dealing with payment processor woes because
Still?
Still, eh?
Fuck.
it sucks.
Me too.
Are you?
Gosh.
I was going to ask you who
Yeah.
you're using for the shop because
Well, who
it's-
I go through uses Stripe, and it's actually not Stripe's fault. It's Printful's fault, because like the way those shops work is they set it up for you under
Right.
them instead of you setting it up yourself. So like you have like no control. So I'm just sitting here like, can I connect
are
my
you a-
bank or?
are they saying like
Recording in
restricted business?
progress.
No, they're just
Professional.
I didn't even
Shut
get
up,
the
shut
chance
up.
to connect my bank account to it for that
Oh.
account. Like it's just hung there, it's just sitting there. So it's like
Right.
I could have like thousands of dollars worth of sales, and like I
No way to.
can't get the money.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing, man?
Well, I mean, I'm with a third party thing too, but it doesn't matter. It's all the same in the end. They're
Right,
just
right.
a pain in the ass.
But you're getting nailed for it being cannabis related. Is that what's happening?
Oh yeah. Not for the
Mhm.
shop, but for my community and other stuff. Like it
Yeah.
seems like they're just being very
Dicks.
difficult.
Pain in the ass, and it's ridiculous, man.
It is.
The hoops you have to jump through.
Yeah, especially because when you
mental.
look at the list of like what's restricted, I'm not doing any of that stuff. But they don't care.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
right.
If you're wondering out there what the professional thing was, Macky just remembered to
Billy,
press record.
no, Billy,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Billy,
We all
no.
heard it.
Fuck.
Just
We all
Billy just
heard
They
it.
didn't
was-
say
Supposed to
Hey,
just
remind
ignore
us.
it. Supposed to just ignore
We
it and
all
move
heard
on.
it.
Gosh, this is not
No, mate.
professional. It was fine. Gosh. Gosh.
I think Mackie's gonna need a post-it note for every week now.
And then I wouldn't look at it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing.
No, you put it on your goddamn monitor, boy.
Yeah, but then I still wouldn't look at it because it'll be there all week. Like, don't forget to hit
Yeah.
record, and then it just
I
become.
do tend to agree with that.
yeah.
Like if you look
Put a
at it
reminder
so
in your
much,
phone. It alerts you every
I put my
time
phone on
at a
Do Not
specific
Disturb
time.
and put it
Son
all
of
the
a
way over
bitch, man,
there,
Stop it.
so it don't go. Boo,
I-
boo,
he's trying to
boo,
bring you
messages
solutions,
get.
Macky.
I know, but
Yeah,
I've tried
Jesus.
these solutions before. Gosh, what we need to do, you guys in chat, you're here every week, everybody, and you're here before the show starts. So just be like, Macky, don't forget to press record. Don't forget to press record. Mate. And there we go.
Right. Well,
Let's
that's
work as a
that's really the
team.
solution.
Maybe that
Yeah.
should be part of your first transition screen.
Macky's the guy on the submarine that forgets to arm the torpedo before they fire it. Yes, that is me. Because torpedoes are not the answer.
Oh,
right.
that's funny.
That's all right. Anyway, I'm going to have to cut all of that out. It's going to be a super short intro for the download this week.
Beautiful.
Yes, I've actually pressed record now,
Short and
Greengrocer.
sweet.
Don't worry. And I just have to get the audio from YouTube for the first few minutes. It'll be fine. Be fine. Don't
It's
worry.
gonna be beautiful.
I've done this before. Don't worry. It'll be okay. Hopefully.
Oh,
But with that,
wonderful, everyone.
I think we should, man, we got some. Let's quickly talk about the news articles we're going to talk about this week, right? We got some Vietnamese migrant. He said, my family's debt meant I was trafficked. And just one of these awful things that happens here in the UK where people get people trafficked, you know, human trafficking that goes on here. And these people get forced to work in cannabis farms, allegedly, you know, because if you did get caught, you would be like, oh, I was farmed. I'm not doing this for me. You know, it was somebody else. Maybe they made me do it, you know, allegedly. And then also some fake electricity workers dug up street to power a £21 million cannabis farm. That's right. That's a bit crazy, that is. We have Canadians are consuming less alcohol and more cannabis, which is good to see. Yes, indeed. Very good to see. And prescription to Not Prosecution, medical cannabis charity CannCare primed to fight for patients' rights. And that's here in the UK. And we also have one about Trump, where he says Trump's White House invites proposal on federal marijuana legalization, activists say. So, yes, that's an interesting one. We'll see what happens when we get there. So lots of cool news to cover in today's show. So don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't done that. Share if you can share, then that would be cool. But of course, no pressure. And yeah, that's about it. Are we ready to move on to the news and talk about some of this madness?
Go.
Let's do it. Hold on, let me press the right button here. God damn, we've already had a bumpy start. Let's go. So just consuming some delicious cannabis there through the mighty, everybody. Delicious. Okay, so I thought the first article we should get to this week is about those crazy bastards stealing that power. Now, we've said this so many times on the show, right? Just because you're growing cannabis, it doesn't mean you should make yourself a criminal. There's nothing wrong with growing cannabis for personal use. This is your shit, and nobody has got the right to tell you that you can't do it. You know, you're not a criminal just because you grow cannabis. But you are a criminal if you steal electricity. And I know these motherfucking electricity companies are just stealing from us all the time. But two wrongs don't make a right. You know, don't be that guy. Don't steal the electricity. It's wrong to steal, and it's very dangerous. So don't do that shit. But these guys thought they knew better, and now they're paying the price. So fake electricity workers dug up streets to power £21 million cannabis farms. Right now, I wasn't going to cover this one initially because it's just another one of those articles. But for like 3 pages of the Google search for cannabis news this week was all about this story. So Google wants everybody to know about this, and you know we have to oblige. You know, so. Right, so let's have a look. They actually got sent to jail as well, which is a rare thing in the UK nowadays. Fake electricity workers who dug up street cables to power cannabis farms have been jailed. The workmen would cordon off streets, dig up pavements, and splice cables to feed power into cannabis farms across the country, Liverpool Crown Court heard. Their electricity powered a £21 million worth of cannabis in secret factories discovered in a former hotel, shops and nightclub, a pub, and an empty department store. 8 men were jailed for their roles in the enterprise on Friday, which spanned 32 factories over 4 years. Damn! They were slow to catch them, weren't they? I mean, surely you would catch them on the first one, like 4 years ago. Damn, 32 factories. Damn. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. The fraud electricians. How do you know they were fraud electricians? I mean, surely they were definitely electricians to know how to take the you know, just because they're criminal electricians doesn't mean they were frauds. I think these guys knew what the fuck they were doing by the sound of things. Anyway, the fraud electricians belong to Elevate Civils and Utilities Limited, which were registered on Companies House. So they registered a legit company to do this. Wow. The stones on these guys. Gosh.
Yeah.
The company directors, Ross McGinn, 33 from Merseyside, and Andrew Roberts, 42 from Wigan, used LinkedIn to post promotional material as a legitimate electricity company. But in reality, They were offering their services to Albanian organized crime groups, investigators from the Northwest Regional Organized Crime Unit. And then they leave an anagram here for NWROCU. Is that what you're going to refer to them now? Are we supposed to make that into a word? I don't speak Welsh. No. Yes, anyway, those guys revealed the highly sophisticated. It's always highly sophisticated. The highly sophisticated but dangerous operation involved the group using high-vis clothing, barriers, and signage to give the appearance they were carrying out legitimate street works, all whilst abstracting huge amounts of electricity for their cannabis farms. Video shows electrical explosions as the gang dug into lines in Middlesbrough. Damn.
Get after it.
A photo...
Professional.
Yeah, very professional. Very professional. It's about as professional as I am, you know? A photo also shows Roberts with burns on his face thought to have come from the illegal work. Okay, so take back what I said earlier. These guys don't sound like professional electricians. They sound like fraud electricians. Okay, I agree. Detective Chief Inspector Zoe Russo said most people, members of the public, would just think that the ordinary company carrying out the work, but actually they weren't. They had no permits, they had no license, they had no legitimate reason to be there, and in fact, they were there to abstract the electricity. But nobody caught them for 4 years.
Well, they had LinkedIn posts.
They weren't looking.
They looked legitimate.
But very true. You know, if you ever think somebody's a criminal, you just got to see if they're on LinkedIn, and if you find them on LinkedIn, they're probably legit.
Exactly.
Madness. 4 years to catch these guys. They're lucky like a place didn't get burned down and lives were lost. You know, very dangerous, man.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Cops set up Operation Spark. Creative.
Very good.
Cops
Big
set up.
brainstorming session for that
I know,
one.
you know what I mean? A big, like a Venn diagram, a cloud diagram on the board. You know, we've got all these different names. What else can you think of, PC Larry? What are you thinking? Cops set up Operation Spark to investigate the company and eventually uncovered 100 farms across the country. Damn. At least 12 UK police forces, including the Metropolitan, Durham, and Gloucestershire forces, were involved in the investigation. They found cannabis farms mainly occupied by Albanian nationals acting as gardeners who said they had been trafficked to the UK. Like I said, this is, you know, they were probably getting paid for it and shit. Allegedly. I don't want to just assume. You know, I don't want to just make out like these guys were actual criminals, because maybe they had been imported and trafficked into the UK. But as I say, it's an easy excuse, isn't it? You can't just take their word for it. Investigate that and see if that really is the case. The group were first uncovered in North Wales when police found a 1.2 million worth of cannabis in an abandoned store on Bangor High Street. Investigations into the Bangor farm found CCTV footage of 5 men arriving in the Elevate van to carry out utility work. What are you doing? Schoolboy era. Cops eventually found diggers, breakers, generators, vans, motorcycles, and cabling at the company's base in Wigan. Look at all that cannabis on the screen. Oh my goodness. McGinn and Roberts pleaded guilty to encouraging and assisting an offence, believing it will be committed, conspiracy to abstract electricity, and conspiracy to steal. Hold on. No. They just said that those guys were people trafficked, so you got to add people trafficking to this charge, right?
Yeah,
Why isn't it there? McGinn wept over video link as he was jailed for 5 years and 4 months. He'll be out in 3 years. He won't do a full sentence. Is that it? Is that the whole article? Oh no, we got more. Roberts was sentenced to 6 years. Graham Roberts, 47, of Wigan, was responsible for splicing and connecting live cables and will be locked up for 5 years and 3 months. 4 other ground workers, who are all in their 20s, were implicated in the enterprise. They all pleaded guilty to encouraging and assisting an offence and a conspiracy to abstract electricity, with 3 facing time behind bars. Crazy, right? That's the whole story there. Yeah, as I said, if those guys are saying, "Oh, we were people trafficked," and they made us work here, then that needs to be added to the charges as well, right? And you're looking at a lot more than 4 or 5 years for a charge like that, probably. And if they've trafficked people into the country and forced people to work like this, then they deserve time in prison, man. That's fucked up shit. You can't do that. There's no, as I said at the start there's nothing wrong with growing cannabis. You're not a criminal because you grow cannabis. You're not doing anything wrong. But if you're people trafficking and you're fucking stealing electricity, yeah, it's a different kind of game you're playing then. Don't do that shit.
The guy said the guy had burns on his face. I mean, that sounds like fuck.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's
He's
messed
about as
up.
professional as Macky.
I already said that earlier, Billy. Fucking catch up, bro. Jesus.
sorry.
Jesus.
But
Gosh.
just making sure. Just making sure.
Making
they'll
sure
know.
it was in there, making sure it was
Yeah,
noted.
Yeah,
Gosh.
exactly.
Madness,
It's
man.
recorded. It might not be in the recorded section, so I'm just making sure.
Oh, fuck off, Billy. Jesus, man. I'm getting it as bad as John had it last week. Gosh.
Whoa. That's right. Let's flip the table, goddamn.
That's right, man. We'll pass it round. It's you next week, Billy. Brace yourself. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, this is. Do you see any shit like this going on in your state there, John? Because you're legal.
No.
Oh, that's just. I wonder what the cause of you not seeing these kind of crimes in your state is then.
Yeah.
What about you,
I'm not gonna
Margaret?
say it hasn't happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
mhm.
not seen any fake electricity trucks digging up the street.
No.
No.
Strange. And I said before the show here when we was discussing this, everybody, that I was driving home the other day. It's like 2:00 in the morning. I was driving home, and and I saw just these two random guys in orange luminous jackets with water on the back. Not like the word water, like they were from a water company. And I'm just looking around, like, it doesn't seem like what. There's no leaks I can see. There's no other work stuff. It's like, are these just dodgy bastards? You know what I mean? Are they
Yeah, it
just
makes you wonder
are
now.
they getting the fucking electricity?
No. No, they're piping in water. Right? The
Oh,
electricity. guys
oh
are down the street.
yeah. Oh, yeah, because water's expensive in the UK now as well. Jesus. But yeah, so I don't know, man. This was a very messed up article. It's very bad to think that people have been trafficked, and it's very bad to see that these motherfuckers are stealing electricity like that. Because not only is it not right to steal, but it's very dangerous to do this kind of thing. As that guy said,
Yeah.
he got burns up on his face and shit. God damn. It's lucky that's all it is. Imagine the amount of power you're dealing with when you're splicing up electricity mains in the
And
ground.
I would assume you can't turn off the power when you're like, would they have access to that?
Yeah, I wouldn't
Right.
think
That's
so.
what.
You know?
That's what I
Killed
wonder,
themselves.
man.
Just make sure you wear rubber shoes. You'll be fine.
Jesus.
Oh, madness, man. Madness. Crazy. All right, so let's cover another one here. We'll wait until we go back to the UK to talk about more people trafficking a little bit later. Well, let's talk about Canadians consuming less alcohol and more cannabis. What are you saying there, Margaret?
Yes, let's. This article comes to us from StratCan. Canadians are consuming less alcohol and more cannabis. And they are saying that cannabis sales increased from 2023, while alcohol sales declined just somewhat, according to the news figures shared by Statistics Canada. Although cannabis sales have been somewhat cooling from the exponential growth seen in the first few years of legalization, sales of recreational cannabis by provincial cannabis authorities and other retail outlets increased 11.6%, or 500 million from the fiscal year 2022
Wow.
2023. This is the equivalent of $163 per person of legal age to consume cannabis. Meanwhile, alcohol sales, while still far higher overall than cannabis sales at 26.2 billion, saw historic declines in sales, down 0.1%.
0.1%. That's historic decline? Damn.
I didn't read this too closely before I began this article because that's a disappointment.
Record breaking. No, we've never seen anything like it.
The decrease in alcohol sales occurred despite a 2.5 increase in the price of alcoholic beverages in stores from March 2023 to March 2024. Conversely, the 11.6 year-over-year increase in cannabis sales came when the cannabis prices declined 2.8%. Inhaled cannabis extracts continue to be the fastest growing product category in 2023 and 24, up 31.4% year over year, growing 59% the previous fiscal year. This category, which includes not only extracts like hash, shatter, or live rosin, but also vape pens and infused pre-rolls, was the most significant contributor to the increase in cannabis sales for that time period, accounting for 67.5% of the $500 million overall increase. Infused pre-rolls, eh? Huh.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yukon had the highest sales per person of legal age to consume cannabis at $356 per person, which is interesting. Yukon's pretty north, so maybe there's not a lot else to do.
Yeah,
But
you know, you staying
never
in
been
over the
there, so
winter time and just
okay.
smoking weed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Quebec had the lowest rate, lowest at $96 per person. Quebec does not allow sales of cannabis extracts unless they have less than 30% THC and has significant restrictions on cannabis edibles. Quebec has also banned the sale of cannabis topicals. Oh, that's really lame. I didn't even know that.
Quebec
Boo.
sucks.
A very small product category. Why would they do that? Anyway,
Well,
that's
you
Quebec-
can't find logic with these kind of folk, man. You know.
well, cannabis topicals are awesome.
I'm going to
But-
say it's probably
Yeah.
because a certain envelope was passed out to a certain person and it had a certain thickness. So then there was like, yeah, sure, we'll get
Allegedly.
rid of that competition for you. Allegedly. Maybe that's what
Right.
happened. That's what I saw in a film. That's what it was. It was a film I saw. Or a
But of all
TV
the
show.
things like topicals, really? I mean, they don't even get
Yeah.
you high.
Mhm. Madness.
Whatever. Retailers that StratCan spoke with recently shared similar insights into current sales trends. While cannabis flower, including pre-rolls, continue to dominate sales, infused pre-rolls and vapes, especially all-in-one disposable vapes, continue to eat into their market share. I fucking hate those all-in-one disposable vapes. But anyway, British
Mm.
Columbia, one of the few provinces to release quarterly wholesale reports for cannabis products, noted that inhalable extract sales for the last 3 months of 2024 were 55.4 million, while cannabis flower and pre-rolls were 76.1 million, for 44.2 million in dried flower and 31 in pre-rolls. Disposable vape pen sales in that province increased by a whopping 193% year over year and 93% in terms of units sold. Sales of infused pre-rolls increased by 19.3%. Inhalable extracts increased by 15.7%. People are just buying this shit up.
They love
That's
it.
all right.
Not enough people growing their own. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know. Ottawa and several provinces have made recent moves to make intra-provincial alcohol sales direct to consumers, but cannabis continues to be excluded from such conversations despite being a greater contributor to Canada's GDP than many aspects of the alcohol industry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many years has it been? You guys have been legal?
Like 6.
I mean, come on, everybody. Let's
Right.
talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just a little surprised about that 0.1% decrease in
Yeah,
alcohol.
that's mental.
I thought the number was going to be higher. I'm not going to lie.
Mhm.
And it's essentially then that you know, there's not much of a fall in alcohol, but a rise in cannabis users. So it's essentially what this article means to say is more people are using cannabis and alcohol together.
That could be.
You know what I mean?
Could be, yeah.
Especially I find with the disposable vape pens. those really,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I know
I
why
don't like
people
them
use
either, man.
Well, usually they're distillate, and so they're kind of shitty, but really, the amount of fucking waste that they
Yeah.
create is
That's what I
ridiculous
was
because the
thinking.
battery's stuck, and like once the cartridge is empty, it's just a throwaway thing.
You know what the worst
Right.
thing is? Like you say, it's a throwaway thing. It's going to get used once, thrown away. They took plastic straws from us.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean?
Not from us,
I
not in
know.
America.
Plastic
Ah.
What's up?
bags. They ban plastic bags.
Plastic
here.
bags. Man,
Yeah.
that plastic bag thing.
Shopping
Here in
bag.
the UK, when that started, we used to get plastic bags for free, and then it was like, oh, she's going to put a 5p charge, you know, try and reduce people using
Which
it.
is
Like, okay.
ridiculous because all the food still comes in plastic bags. Like
Yeah,
if
it's
you buy
crazy.
a bag
It's
of
crazy.
carrots or a bag of bread, like
Well,
we have
people
bag
definitely,
food, for Christ's sake.
people definitely use the plastic bags less. Tangent, everybody. But nowadays, you can't get a
Yeah.
bag for less than £1. So you
No.
you cheeky bastards, man. Gosh.
I
You probably
know.
can get it. It's probably like 30 pence, really. I mean, I'm exaggerating. If you want to get a decent bag, god damn.
And I will also say when I worked at the dispensary, the disposable vape or like the vape pens were returned regularly
Oh,
with
cool.
problem. Like
Oh,
they would
with
Really?
get
problems.
clogged.
I thought you meant they finished them and bought them
Oh, some
back to
people
be
tried that
disposed
bullshit
properly.
too. Trust me, I saw it all, but
Mm-mm.
but there was often a lot of problems with them because they're just like, cheap batteries and cheap like cartridges, basically. They're just it's not
Yeah.
like they're a high quality product or
It's
whatever. There was
crazy how
lots of
No.
many you get seen thrown away. And there's proper disposal places here in the UK. Like you go to the supermarket, there's proper bins for the disposable vapes. Not THC vapes, but vapes in general. You know?
yeah. Yeah, they did have just a thing where you could but I don't know, once somebody put the empty cartridge in that or empty thing in the box, like did anybody ever come to pick up the box? Like who knows what happens with it? It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Or
like we all
do they just dump it in
recycle,
the garbage can?
but half the time, like, does it half the shit we put in the recycling bin like actually get recycled? I don't know.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. A lot of plastic
There's like a
there.
documentary on that one for you, Margaret.
Yeah, you know.
Anyway, that was a nice little tangent there, everybody.
Mhm.
Be environmental responsible and dispose of your vapes properly. And don't forget to consume more cannabis as well. We need to see better numbers here.
That's right.
Yes. So, yeah, let's do it, man. Let's talk about Trump. What are we saying, John? Are we ready, everybody? Brace yourselves. I know some people get triggered by that T word. But yeah, so brace yourselves.
It's gonna be okay, everybody.
It's gonna be okay. Smoke.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. So the Trump White House invites proposal on federal marijuana legalization. Activist says to marijuana moment. Longtime drug policy reform advocate says he spoke with a White House staffer at an event last week and was invited to submit a proposal outlining why President Donald Trump should back federal marijuana legalization. Yay. At Americans for Tax Reform, ATR, weekly Wednesday meetings of conservative activists hosted by Governor Norquist last week, Citizens Against Prohibition, drug policy specialist Howard Woolridge said a White House representative welcomed proposals for all attendees, and he was able to personally discuss his plan to advise the administration to adopt a pro-legalization position. I got a couple minutes with her, just one-on-one, and basically gave her the basics that my organization of law enforcement and citizens would like to see an end to the drug war and make it a medical issue in the macro, Woolridge told Marijuana Moment in a phone interview on Tuesday. Oh, there's a nice picture of some psychedelics there. A recent study suggests that psychedelic substances like psilocybin, mushrooms, and LSD may boost sexual function even months after the experience.
I think you're reading
What
something else there, John.
What happened here?
What?
Like I'm reading this thing. Swear to God, man, look at this. Check
That's
the
not
read
what's on
thing,
the
dude.
screen, John. That's not what's on the screen.
No.
Gosh.
So I pushed so here's what I did. You should
clicked
try
on the
it.
ad?
I pushed the reader button, and that came up, and I'm like, I start reading it, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I'm like, that jumped a little bit. Okay, so let's back that up a little bit. See where I left off here. Woolridge minutes. Okay, there we are. She was very open to any and all suggestions coming to that particular meeting because it obviously is a friendly environment for someone who's coming from the Trump White House, he said. She was certainly a good listener. I'm never going to live this down. Woolridge, who also co-funded law enforcement against prohibition, LEAP, there's our acronyms again, which has since been renamed Law Enforcement Action Partnership, declined to provide the name of the administration staffer, given certain expectations of decorum at the weekly meeting that's been going on for over 30 years. Marijuana Moment reached out to the White House for comment, but a representative was not immediately available. As far as the cannabis proposal is concerned, Woolridge said he would be submitting it by the end of this week with consultation from well-known conservative cannabis lobbyist Don Murphy. Basically, what I'm going to bring in the proposal is the political advantages for the Trump administration to end the policy of federal prohibition, Woolridge said, stressing the potential appeal of pitching a states' rights position on the issue of legalization to the Republican president's team. Trump has backed that states' rights perspective in the past, and on the campaign trail, he also endorsed a Florida marijuana legalization proposal, as well as federal rescheduling and industry banking access. But in
So
the
he's
months
already
since
aware of this kind of shit, then, isn't he? He knows
well,
about the
yeah,
big problems.
yeah, and I mean, it was a big thing when he went in and voted for, it in Florida too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, continuing on. But in the months since he came out in favor of those reforms, he's been notably silent on the issue. For example, even after securing the release of an American who was incarcerated in Russia over marijuana possession and inviting him to the Capitol for an address to a joint session of Congress this week, Trump declined
A
to
joint
acknowledge
session.
the underlying cannabis charges. Yes, everybody smoke one right there.
Yeah, smoke.
In any case, the forthcoming proposal is an attempt to bring the president back into the conversation from Woolridge's perspective. Getting Trump to explicitly call on Congress to act on a reform bill is the only feasible pathway given the ongoing resistance to loosening marijuana laws by current GOP House and Senate leadership. If Trump gives them that mandate, members of Congress of the Republican Party are not going to resist the will of Donald Trump on essentially anything he said. I think that's a little
Yeah, I mean, it's
opinionized
cannabis.
there.
I mean, some things they're just gonna let go. Like, yeah, Trump said do it, but
Right.
when it comes to cannabis, Republicans are like they're known to be anti-drugs. So
They
would
are,
they all
but I
just
think a
toe
lot
the
of them are
line?
changing,
Hmm.
Maybe. I'm sure there'll be some that'll hold out, right? All right.
Don't know.
Wooldridge said in an email newsletter sent to his organization supporters that the administration staffer who invited the proposal indicated that if it was approved, he would be invited to the White House for discussion on why should Trump support legalization or legalizing marijuana at the federal level. Murphy, a GOP lobbyist with the American Cannabis Collective, is going to assist in the drafting of Wooldridge's proposal to the White House. Specifically, Murphy is going to help with the conservative messaging around the issue. There are plenty of reasons why the president should do this, not because he's going to get a lot of love from progressives. They'll still hate him, but it is the right thing to do, Murphy told Marijuana Moment. Oh my gosh. Scroll down a ways here. This comes in the background of multiple top-level cabinet nominations and Senate confirmations of administration officials with mixed records on drug policy reform, which advocates and stakeholders have been following closely to see if Trump will push for marijuana policy change. For example, Trump recently nominated vociferously. What?
Yeah, whatever
What
that
is that
means.
word? Yeah,
Vocifer-
anti-cannabis official to serve as the lead attorney at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, drawing praise from prohibitionists. While HHS under the Biden administration has already recommended rescheduling cannabis following a scientific review, that process has been delayed, raising questions about the potential influence of new administrative appointees. HHS's general counsel is responsible for providing legal advice, interpreting regulatory policies, and overseeing litigation involving the agency, among other roles. And so, if Stewart is confirmed by the Senate, he could be key in any future agency interpretations of the Controlled Substance Act requirements when it comes to marijuana scheduling status. By contrast to the HHS General Counsel Counsel nominee Mike Stewart, the recently Senate confirmed Secretary of HHS Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was previously vocal about his support for marijuana legalization. Despite that stated support, however, following his confirmation, Kennedy said last month that he is worried about the normalization of high potency marijuana and that he feels that its use can have really catastrophic impacts on people, but that state level legalization can facilitate research into its harms and benefits. The comments came on the same day that Senator Pete Ricketts said he received a commitment from Kennedy to follow the science on the harm of marijuana. Ricketts had already disclosed earlier this month that he spoke to Kennedy about the importance of preventing the expansion of marijuana. Now he says RFK committed to me that he would follow the science on the harms of marijuana. I think we talked about this like 2 weeks ago. Despite Kennedy's history of advocating for cannabis legalization, he said last month that he will defer the drug enforcement to the Drug Enforcement Administration on marijuana rescheduling in his new role. That could complicate rescheduling. Last month, Trump officially named his pick to lead DEA, selecting a decades-long agency veteran and top Virginia official whose voiced concerns about the dangers of marijuana and linked its use to higher suicide risk among youth.
Wow.
Separate.
Wow.
I don't know about that, but alcohol's worse. Separately, anti-marijuana rep Andy Harris told Marijuana Moment recently that it's definitely time to have a talk with Kennedy to convince him that marijuana is harmful and that the way to make Americans healthy is by limiting his use. I feel like this article started out so good and then just now it's just
Yeah, well, we have that sometimes.
shafted
Don't
the
we,
rest
you
of the
know?
way down, right?
It's like really nice title, and then no,
Right.
ha, you know.
All right. Only a little bit left. Let's push through. Prior to Kennedy's written response to members of the Senate Finance Committee that gave him initial approval, Senator Elizabeth Warren asked him to reiterate his position on marijuana legalization amid the ongoing effort to federally reschedule cannabis. A political action committee founded by former Vice President Mike Pence had attempted to undermine the confirmation of Kennedy as HHS Secretary, in part by drawing attention to his support for marijuana and psychedelics reform, as well as his personal history with substance misuse. And that's the end of that.
Wow,
John needs to check the reader before doing that.
No,
anymore.
man, there was a good one. It was a good one still. Billy was very quiet for the whole fucking whole article there. What's going on, Billy? I know you're biting
you
your
told
tongue.
me to.
Very
Oh,
true.
he's got-
I did say that at the
yeah,
start.
I was-
Calm down, Billy. Don't
I
get
was
too carried
being
away with the
professional,
politics.
mate.
All right.
Yeah.
You did
Exactly.
good, Billy.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. I wish we would have stopped like halfway through this because it went back to that article I read before or whatever, and
You know, but it
all
just
the
bothers
people
me.
just looking at the harms, right? Nobody wants to look at the good stuff, and that's
Yeah.
what's annoying about this situation.
And what's annoying is
and
like
why
they
people
pretend
can't
they
get
give a
around it.
shit. You know, when they say things like, "Oh, it increases suicide rate in youth," and it's like, yeah, and so does going off fighting in these war zones. We've seen it, but you're still happy to fucking do that. You
Yeah,
know?
or we're pushing
Right.
Ritalin, and
Yeah, you really care about the
you know,
kids.
Yeah, that's right. They care so much. Oh, we gotta give people's mental health. We care so much. You don't give a shit. Stop fucking pretending like you do because it benefits you in this particular instance. Fucking bullshit,
Right.
motherfuckers, man. Anyway,
flag.
yeah. Sorry, flag, safe and effective. You know.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, but to me that doesn't sound good.
You don't think it's gonna happen,
That's
no?
what I mean.
At the federal
way
level,
they-
I don't know. There's just so many anti-cannabis people that have influence.
Right. Right.
So I don't know.
Well, I think I don't know. I think we're 50-50 still. I think that's the best way to do it. I don't know,
Yeah.
I think if it does happen, when it should go federally legal and let the states decide. That seems to be like the best option at that point, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it needs to
Right.
be federally legal because otherwise you're just dealing with a lot of bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, banking
And there's
laws
more.
need to
There's
change and
like
shit.
there's more laws that come with that too. Like even if it was, or like right now it's not federally legal, right? So like me driving 10 minutes down the road and crossing into another state is illegal for me to take anything with me,
Yeah,
even if
Right.
they were legal over there.
madness.
So yeah. So and that's even for your medical. Like you're not supposed to carry your medical across.
Yeah, crossing state lines of it instead of federal a felony, isn't it? So
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. Madness, man. So something has to change. You know, the laws need to
Yeah.
be fixed up just to make sure that doesn't exist anymore. This bullshit, where it's just clear stupidness. You cross
Yeah.
this imaginary line that we put down. So now you broke a federal law. You're gonna go to federal prison, bro. Are you serious, man? That just makes no sense. So that
Right.
needs to change. And you know, let's see what happens when apparently this person is going to go speak to Trump at some point and tell him about cannabis.
If it gets approved that he gets to go,
Yeah,
you know.
just got to hold on, see what happens. We're still
Yeah.
only just a couple of months in, aren't we?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
We got a while to go yet.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen it done within the first 100 days, because that's the thing that they do. You know, I'm never
Right.
optimistic to think that anybody's going to legalize it anytime soon. You know.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to say something here, Billy? I know you want to say a little something. You know?
I know what he's gonna say.
You know? Yeah.
Oh shit.
Come on, Billy. You can say something, bro. Don't just leave us hanging.
My headphones have gone, so
So you can't
Are you
hear.
talking without headphones?
yes, because I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Oh.
Oh.
I was saying,
Yours is
say
on
something about the politics, man.
commentary.
Yeah. Say something, Billy.
It's
Just
hard,
egging him
I
on.
don't know really because I wasn't really listening. No, it's. I think they're going to change some stuff because obviously they got to, because money wise, and I think that's what they're looking at, really, isn't it? If you know what I mean. And that's what they're going on about with all this Doge stuff as well. It's all about changing money. So I think that's what's going to go on, because they want to change what's going on federally. So I think the complete sweep and push it down to the states and all of that. So it's good because something has to change. Because, like you say, it's just stupid how it is. Because half of them, the states are legal, half of them aren't. Some are medical, half of them are stashing like lots of cash in safes and shit like that. It's just a complete mess.
You know.
They lose so much money in all avenues. It's like, well, it needs to be sorted out at a federal level and then done, sorted. So I think he will clean it up. So it's a good thing. So you never know.
You never know. Let's see what happens, man. Let us all know what
Sorry.
you think, everybody, in the chat there and in the comments. You know, do you think it's going to happen? You think Trump's going to do it or not? You got anything to add to this one, John, before we move on? Anything more?
No. I think we pretty much covered it. I
Yeah.
mean, we just gotta wait and see. You know, a lot
Gotta
of
wait
what
and see.
ifs.
That's right. And of course, we'll keep you
Wait,
updated.
keep
'Cause
going.
at some point, we will do a news article, which is the USA legalizes cannabis federally. Yay! Yeah,
That would be amazing.
yeah. Soon, hopefully, soon. But anyway,
Mm.
so what you saying, Billy? What's going on in the UK here? We're going to see some movement in anything forward and not backwards, like we're getting very used to seeing.
He
Is
just
it-
dropped his headphones again.
It's his
Yeah,
headphones.
go on. Nah. Right. So this is basically more shit in the UK, but it could be positive shit for a change.
Yeah.
So the prescription, not prosecution. So the medical cannabis charity CannCare are primed to fight for patient rights. And so as the number of medical cannabis patients continue to rise in Britain and internationally, a new charity, CannCare, has launched to uphold champion rights for those facing discrimination for consuming obviously prescribed medication, because that's what it is. It's a prescribed medication, even if it is cannabis. It's still classed as a medication. So Manchester-based CannCare provides help, support, information about the cannabis-based products for medical use, or the CBPMs as they're referred to. So the patients, when they encounter issues with the public bodies such as housing associations, who are right bastards really as well, local councils and law enforcement. To be honest, the housing associations can be more strict than the law enforcement in some points, and which is crazy. So, and also private enterprises. So, like when you're employers and employees, sort of, it affects your business, doesn't it? So, if someone has to use medical cannabis, then well, that's going to affect what they can and can't do. So many people are still unaware that medical cannabis has been legal in the UK now for 6.5 years.
Madness, man.
Mental. Yep. So the CannCare CEO founder, Callum Jones, is as a result increasingly common for patients to experience discrimination from those who believe they are breaking the law, because no one knows that it's been changed and they still think cannabis users are all breaking the law. So we've seen this happen firsthand. It can basically be incredibly stressful experience, which it would be being arrested for your actual medication you're prescribed by a doctor, which you've legally paid
Even just
for.
being in possession of it and knowing that they ain't all clued up like they're supposed to be, that's stressful.
Right.
You know, even though you're legally in possession of the shit, it's still stressful, man. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yep, crazy. You can't even consume your medication outside without thinking you're going to be arrested, sort of thing. Crazy. So they want to see where the future lies for the patients in the UK, and they can confidently take their prescription medication without fear or harassment of persecution and prosecution, basically, because that's what it is. How can you live in fear of taking your medication? Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Already, the CannCare team have successfully resolved a landmark case involving a patient in West Sussex who threatened with eviction from rental property for consuming medical cannabis. That's what I'm
Wow.
saying about housing associations. Yeah, so you're consuming your own medical cannabis, which you can legally prescribed, and they want to kick you out your house for it, make you
I think
homeless.
they can do that in some places here too.
Yeah, that's why it needs to change
it's-
federally as well out there,
Yeah.
not it? It's sort of like
Yeah.
it needs to be a line drawn that's saying that somewhere that this shit can't fucking happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we won't shy away from taking affirmative action with the patients they're taking forward. They're working briefly with unfairly stigmatized and consuming. They're unfairly stigmatized for consuming medical cannabis, and it's right. Someone's got to make a stand for these patients because obviously, if you're disabled, you've already got issues anyway. And being
Yeah.
threatened to lose your house, your job, and then maybe lose everything else like your family and shit on top. There's like that leads people to suicide and shit just because they're
Very true.
consuming medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking crazy. So, um, so as well as they're championing the rights of medical cannabis patients across the UK, CannCare aim to broaden the public awareness as well of the medical cannabis availability, outlining its efficiency, legal status, and positive impact. Well, the legal status, I think, is the most important thing at the moment to get across to, but not to the public, but to all the associations, the housing people,
Mm-hmm.
the social care, the lot. If you know what I mean, everyone
Right.
evolved around the social teams. So it's like doctors, nurses, the social care, housing. Sort of like there's a big list of people who need to be told these fucking laws.
Yeah.
So so what they aim to bring patients, healthcare professionals, and the public together to promote awareness and understanding for medical cannabis. Councillor Waters, who's like a trustee, appointed a trustee of the charity. So the plant-based medicines like CBPMs can make a massive difference to patients' overall quality of life. The only thing getting in the way is the stigma. This is why education, information will remain key. And that's good because even there's counsellors now getting involved. Yes, how forward thinking some counsellors are that even they're getting involved. Thinking like we have to now educate other councils and counsellors. It's like they're the people that we have to aim at now, rather than the sort of the general public, because the general public do need to know, but they're not the ones who are prosecuting the patients, sort of thing. So how much money is this costing the lawyers, and they're probably loving this shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
so CannCare is also a member of the UK Cannabis Industry Council, and they're planning a number of patient outreach initiatives across the UK. They're also committed to creating a community for UK cannabis support. So it's supporting each other and giving information and advice, but also it's if you live with one of these association type places and all of that, write anonymous letters to them, sort of thing, emails stating that these facts, that these are the cannabis laws and all that. Where do they stand on the issues and all that? Find out, let them make sure they know that it's illegal
Mm-hmm.
to kick people out now. Sort of like it's you can fight against it. So you've got
Well,
to
we need to
stand up for your
we need to see
rights.
some court cases. You know, like somebody has been evicted from their property. There's
Yeah.
been a court case where the person has been through all the bullshit and told them it was wrong, and then they've been sued or something and been able to get their property back. That's if we could find court cases like that where there's some kind of precedent or example that you can show these different organizations, then that might change the tide, to be like, look, this is what happened in this case. Don't end up being these guys and being sued for a shitload of money. Make sure you're aware of this. Make sure your people are aware of this so it doesn't happen to you.
Yeah,
know what I
show them
mean?
the financial loss.
Yeah.
Or even that case where what was said here where the woman won against the thing, because that would have cost the lawyers money.
Mm-hmm.
They probably would have been expensive ones as well. So it's probably cost them 10, 20, 50 grand in fees
Yeah.
to lose
Mental.
that case. So we need to be pointing these facts to these associations. That, well, if you take me to court, you're going to lose. And it's putting patients in this position in the first place, which is crazy. Because it's been like 6 years now, and there's been no move on lots of stuff. But for people still to be arrested and taken through this rigmarole of being evicted as well, and then having to go to court, because that could you to think, oh, fuck this, I'm going to lose, I'm just going to end it anyway, sort of mentality. Because so some people might not even get to the court, to the winning stage.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So it's devastating.
Yeah.
For some.
Yeah,
Ludicrous.
absolutely. Anytime you're involved in the legal system, it's just super
Yeah.
time consuming and costly too. And people have to go
Yeah.
out and earn a living.
So this is sort of positive because there was a positive win, but it's not positive because this is happening across the whole of the UK right now. So it's like a one positive out of 1,000 negatives. It's like, so we now need to another campaign just to let the companies know that, hello, this is legal now. You can't fucking stop me from working.
Yeah.
Or evict me.
I'm gonna try reaching out to the CEO there, try to get him on the show for an interview, find out what they're all about. You know, that'd be cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's good people they are, actually.
Yeah, man.
Good
So
stuff.
maybe a step forward in the UK then. But then we have just one more news article here from the UK. It is, I would say it's kind of a step backwards, but it's not really. We've just been standing still with this issue for quite a long time because, you know, before cannabis was legalized for medical use, this was still going on as well. So over 6 years, maybe like 20 years ago, I can remember that in the UK, it was predominantly Vietnamese guys would come from Vietnam, grow a shitload of cannabis, run organized crime gangs, and if there was ever caught, they'll just go back home to Vietnam and never suffer any consequences. So they just come in and grew shitloads of weed. And that's still going on, you know, it's just different gangs have taken over at different times, you know, it's gone from the Vietnamese, it's Albanian gangs right now, and, you know, it's a problem that's going to carry on happening until they decide to change the law and properly legalize and regulate. So until then, we're stuck with stories like this. We have trafficked to a cannabis farm over family's debt. A man from Vietnam, I keep trying to say Vietnam or something. You know, a couple of times I've done it. Vietnam. I don't know what's going on there. Gosh. A man from Vietnam. No, sorry to laugh, everybody. Let's try and be serious about this one. A man from Vietnam says he is unsure he will ever recover from being smuggled into the UK in a lorry, which is like a big truck, and forced to work on a cannabis farm to pay off his family debts. Now, this shit is crazy. I mean, we've all seen these big news stories where there's like 50 people in the back of one of these trucks, and there's no air for them, and they all just locked in there. They all suffocate and shit. You know, dangerous, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, traveling
Is it
that
a red
far.
lorry or a yellow lorry?
I'm not going to play that game. God. Yeah, it's too difficult to say just lorry on its own. Nam, not his real name, is from Ha Tin, somewhere in Vietnam. He says he was beaten, forced to work 19 hours each day, and had no chance of escape. But he is not alone. Nearly a third of the 3,602 Vietnamese migrants who arrived in the UK by small boat last year were identified as potentially modern slaves, although this number may rise as more victims could be found. The government
Well,
says...
he's in the right country, isn't he, I suppose?
What do you
Modern
mean?
slaves and being worked to death being in the UK.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even the people getting paid feel like that nowadays because
That's what I
everything's
say.
so
They're
expensive.
exactly the same. Yep.
It's crazy. The government says it is ramping up immigration enforcement to tackle the criminal gangs that extort people. With a lack of reputable lenders to borrow money from, people in Vietnam often turn to loan sharks who charge high interest rates. These loan sharks work with trafficking gangs who will force people into working against their will if the debts go unpaid. When Nam's father became ill with lung cancer, his family borrowed the equivalent of £186,564 from loan sharks. Damn! That's a whole lot of money. Nam and his sister were both forced by gangs to go abroad to repay the debt. He was taken to Russia with a fake passport and then transported through Europe. In France, Nam says his traffickers forced him into a refrigerated lorry, threatening to kill him if he disobeyed. Nam arrived in the UK through Dover and was forced to clean houses for no pay before being sent to the cannabis factory. He says he remembers often thinking, I could die in there without anyone knowing. Police eventually found Nam, but the experience has left him with physical and mental health problems. I don't know when I will fully recover, he said. Van, whose identity we are protecting, is another victim of the trafficking in the UK and was also forced to work on a cannabis farm. He came to the UK legally as a student, but when his visa was coming to an end, his family told him he could not go home to Vietnam because they had borrowed money from a loan shark and he had needed to work for 2 years to repay the debt. I thought you came here illegally in the back of a truck. When people threatened to beat you, like they threatened to beat me and threatened that my family in Vietnam would not be able to live in peace, he said. So did you come here legally or not? Because if you come here on a visa as a student, you don't have to go in a refrigerated lorry.
Are they not talking about a different guy?
Are they?
Van.
I don't.
Not Nam.
Yeah, but that's all.
Oh,
There's
you're
another
right,
victim of
Margaret.
trafficking.
We
Wow,
missed
yeah,
it.
yeah. This is a completely
what I'm
different
here
guy,
for.
everybody. That's right. Okay.
Thanks, Margaret.
Thank you, Margaret.
Yeah, no
Gosh,
problem.
saved the day again. Gosh.
Holy.
Let's just say allegedly a couple of times. Allegedly, just to make sure we got our asses
Allegedly.
covered here. So yeah, they could have called him Alan or something. I don't know. It's
No,
something a little
Van,
bit different,
Van.
you know. Gosh, Papa made us look like a bunch of fools here. Van was later discovered by Border Force officials as the gang tried to smuggle him into Ireland. He said that initially he was not believed to have been a trafficking victim and was told he would be deported back to Vietnam, which at first he thought was good news. Then I realized that we were still in debt. The gangsters would still come to find me in Vietnam and they would still make my life and my family's life miserable, he said. I don't want to live at that point. The Salvation Army says that there is a risk that potential victims may be misidentified, criminalized, and denied access to the support they need. Van and Nam, because there's two different people we're talking about in this article, were eventually referred into the National Referral Mechanism, a process which finds support for people who are victims of modern slavery and are now being supported by charities in the UK. Hidden in plain sight, little subheading here. A spokesman from the Home Office said that it had an unwavering commitment to tackling modern slavery and that it was concerned to hear about Van's experience. Home Office Minister Dame Angela Eagle told BBC South East that the government must put pressure on those organised gangs all along their supply chain right from the very beginning. Yeah, because that's going to work. The government, because these criminals, they really care. They don't want to break the law, do they? Jesus.
Right.
The government has also expanded its social media campaigns in Vietnam, warning about the risks and realities of irregular migration. The Salvation Army says that modern-day slavery is hidden in plain sight and wants the public to watch out for signs, such as workers that look frightened, unkempt, malnourished, or have untreated injuries, such as, everybody. Because people are afraid
Burn
on the
face,
streets
burn
now,
hands.
unkempt, because people can't afford new clothes and haircuts, malnourished because people can't afford to eat a decent meal, and then have untreated injuries because it's impossible to get a doctor's appointment. So yeah, anybody really. I'm exaggerating a little, but only a little bit. Things are pretty bad here in the UK right now. Other signs are less obvious, such as someone else paying for a worker's travel, speaking for them, picking up and dropping them off from work. People trafficking is not cool, everybody. But the thing is here,
terrible.
and why I bring this article forward, is there's one way which we can reduce the amount of people being trafficked massively, and that's to properly legalize and regulate cannabis.
Right.
It's simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't do it. It's absolutely crazy, And they complete to these organized crime gangs all they want. It's not going to fucking change anything. They're not going to suddenly see the light and be like, oh, lads, I think we've been doing something wrong. It's just, it's just not going to work. Get a pamphlet from the Home Office, be like, have you been people trafficking? Oh yeah, fuck, we did. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
Oh my god.
What are you saying, Billy? You're sitting there quietly in the back of there again. Like you don't want to flip out and go on a rant about this as well.
Well, it is in a way because they're fucking up our country, ain't they? With all this fucking gang warfare, because that's what's going on is with drugs everywhere, and so it's like we've got enough problems in this country as it is with shit. So let alone having all our drugs being sold by gangs warring and causing shit on our street because it filters out into other things as well. So it's like, it's to me, the government keep the drugs illegal like that because it creates tyranny on our streets. You know what I mean? They want it
allegedly
to yeah. No, I don't think it's allegedly at all. So,
allegedly,
that's my opinion.
Allegedly, let's just say it, just in case.
Yeah, just
New shirt in the shop.
But, yeah, so
yeah, man.
Yeah, I'll stop there.
It's very, very sad. And the only way it's going to stop is it's properly legalized and regulated, in my opinion. And it won't stop 100%. There'll still be shit like this going on, but it won't be anywhere near as much. Instead of having all these organized crime gangs around the UK growing and selling cannabis for ridiculous amounts of money, legalize it, have tax-paying business ventures making all this money instead. It just makes perfect sense to me. But I'm just some random stoner on a Sunday night. What do I know? Surely the government know better than me, don't they? Of course they do. Of course they do. Thank you, government, for keeping us all safe from this devil cannabis.
I bet the government know when to press a record button at the start of a show.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Because they're recording everything all the time.
Exactly.
Anyway. Oh, shit. That's right.
They don't have a button to push. It's just that.
Yeah, it's automatic.
But there we go. Yeah, that's all the news and events this week. Of course, there's more shit going on, but these are the ones we picked out for this week's news. If you see any news articles you want us to cover on next week's show, then of course, send them to us on the Discord or on Percy's or whatever, We always like to cover the news stories that you send in. So if you do send some, then that would be cool. Right, so let's talk about some forum news. I don't think there's much forum news to add here. I've been busy in the background doing shit, which wouldn't interest you all. Plant of the month, obviously, go and enter if you're not involved yet. Gonna get some competitions up and running soon. We also have the Seedsman Grow Off starting very soon. I mean, I've sent all the information off to Otto over at Seedsman now, so we should see. That should all start taking place tomorrow, aka Monday. So yeah, man, the ball is starting to roll. And the grow off will be going very soon. If you want to be involved in a future grow off, everybody, then become a member of percysgrowroom.com. Obviously, get a diary up and running, things like that. Become part of the community, and we will have another grow off going in the next couple of months as well. So keep an eye out on that. We just want to time it all correctly. But you have to be a member to take part, obviously. So yeah, get involved. Margaret, what's going on Bite Me side of things?
Well, you can listen to new episodes every Thursday at on your favorite podcast platform, or I can't even talk today. bitemepodcast.com. And like I said, do have a couple interviews coming up myself. I'm not sure when they'll actually be released though, but keep an eye open.
What's the name of the lady? Vanessa, was it?
Vanessa Lavorado.
That's right, because she's going to be on the show as well. She's some like on High and Homegrown and on Bite Me show about edibles, because she's an edibles expert, makes chocolate and stuff. So yeah, that's going to be interesting interview. So we have that, and that's on Tuesday. We have her coming on Tuesday with a CH Tuesday for us, and Tuesday with a T for Margaret. So check out those days. And then we also have, it's penciled in, but it should be happening on Thursday the 13th. We've got Jeff Lowenfels coming in for an interview. So that's going to be super cool. Nice. Yeah, and rescheduled with Jorge as well. I said that we'll finalize a date after Cannabis. So he's coming back. Jorge Cervantes, in case anybody doesn't know. He'll be coming back soon as well. So, and OK Calix as well next week. Yeah, OK Calix is going to be coming to join us. Yeah, lots going on. Lots of cool interviews. Anything to add on your side of things, John, with the whole merch and all that stuff?
Same stuff is up right now. There's 2 new allegedly shirts up.
Allegedly.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Check it out.
I think I need to make one for flags too.
Yeah, flag. Yeah. Nice. So check that out, everybody. Yeah, and that's about it. Shall we move on for a smoke break?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Yeah, and when you say flags there, it reminded me of Minesweeper. You want to know how to play Minesweeper?
I haven't played it in so long, man.
Fucking
do know
hell,
how to
I ain't
play.
played that since like Windows 95 or something, mate.
Epic
Yeah,
game.
that was the last time I played that.
Yeah, I love
Probably.
Minesweeper. Can you play Minesweeper, Margaret?
I'm trying to remember which game that is.
It's where you press all the squares and it shows you a number in
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it. Once
Cool.
upon a
'Cause I see like memes where it's like I still don't know how to play this game after 20 years, and it's like Minesweeper's a reasonably simple game to play, man. You know, you just take 5 minutes to learn how to do it, but God, great game. You know what the worst thing is when you play like on expert, you spend a half hour clicking all these squares, and then at the end you're left with a 50-50.
Yes.
There's like nothing you can do. 50-50 chance. Yeah, that pisses me off. But yeah, I like that game. I'm going to have a game of that after this, I think.
All right.
Random
Fire up
random
your
tangent.
95
Minesweeper.
Windows
Random
95
tangent.
computer.
No, you can play online. You can play Snake online as
No,
well.
I know.
Fine, we play
Played
everything
that one a
online.
bunch too back in the day.
Back in the
Like, it's
day.
crazy how many of the old games are just online now
Mhm.
of all
Right.
kinds of different stuff, man.
Yeah, you don't even download
not-
anything either. It's just like on the
No.
website.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
Oh yeah,
what-
Cannabis is coming up next weekend, isn't it? Well, this weekend.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anybody
Shouldn't
going?
we-
Is anybody going?
Anybody
to
going
report?
Cannabis? Anybody going?
I
GW
am not.
Orton is going. He's out there.
Nice.
There'll be some out there, wouldn't there, going? So
Yeah, hopefully, because GW Orton as well, a good member of the forum there. If anybody is part of the forum and is over at Cannabis as well, then he's looking for help to get into the dispensaries and stuff. The what are they called? Consumption lounges. What's the proper
Social
term?
clubs?
Yeah.
Social club. That's the one,
Social
Margaret. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think you need somebody to refer you in. You can't just get in. You need a friend to get you in or something. So he's going to need help while he's over there. So you know, and everybody be safe and respectful. Don't be
Mhm.
just be good stoners, man. Set a good example.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Nice.
if he's listening, when he gets inside Cannabis, there's lots of the social clubs that have stalls there as well.
Oh,
So
cool, right.
you-
So
so
you'd
you
be able
can
to start
speak to
there.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have representatives there, so you better speak to them directly, get invited
Nice.
directly by them. So it should be okay.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, and you know, spring's coming, summertime's on the way, so all of these events are going to start happening again now. As we head into a new year, it's just so nice for it to be warm again, feel the warmth of the sun, and start producing
beautiful.
actual vitamin D again. You know,
Mhm.
it's very good, man.
That's all right.
You got any events to go to this year, Margaret?
Yeah, I'm going to one, probably a 420 event. I don't have the details yet though. And I am probably going to Camp Canna again this year, which was a lot of fun last year,
Mhm.
which is June in the Halliburton area where I am. So that'll be a
Wow.
lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool, man.
It's like summer camp, but for
Nice.
adults and with lots
Yeah.
of.
For adults.
And you went last year, didn't you?
I did, yeah. It was a
Awesome.
lot of fun.
Nice. I'm just gonna go grab a beverage. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Get after it.
Do
Dang
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Ugh.
Behave yourself, Billy.
Let's
You're
just
gonna come
leave
back
some
with a stout.
dead air.
Lots of stuff ought to be firing up soon. Over here
Yeah, it's
too.
Gonna
Yeah,
be
for
festival
events and
season,
stuff.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, once it's nice out.
Yeah.
It was
Are you going to anything,
after
Jared?
Easter, isn't it?
No, I don't think I'm gonna be going to anything this year. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm a busy guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going like so when Scotty was on what day was that? Thursday? I think.
Mm-hmm.
He has the Dudes Grow show and that they have the cup in June, I think. Like I wouldn't
Oh,
mind going out to that. That would be kind of cool. That's
and
in
where's that? Is that
Colorado.
like close to you?
No, it's in Colorado. There's nothing close. They have some stuff in Minnesota, but nothing. I don't know. Right now, like the most of the stuff I've seen really that gets hyped is more industry stuff, I feel.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like
I've been to
even
some of
around
those
here.
events. They're not
Start your
The
own event
good.
then.
Well, yeah, but you got to be licensed and all that bullshit, which they don't
Apply
even
for the
have figured out
licensing.
yet. So like the first
So that's
year, they had it. Um, yeah, the first year they had, or it was legal here. There was like I didn't hear about anybody putting on any cannabis events at all. Like there,
Mhm.
I went to one guy who had a grow shop. He ended up putting one on, which was not sure if it was going to happen because it's an event and nobody knew about licensing or anything. But that's the only one I heard of in my area, like for I don't know, hours drive, you know, to get anywhere, and that was still an hour away from me.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. There was supposed to be one that around here that happened like it was supposed to happen around the first of the year. That never happened. So most of the stuff happens down in the bigger cities like Twin Cities and stuff, and yeah, things like that. But
Right.
nothing I know of right offhand.
Well, if you find a Camp Canada, you should go because someone asked in the chat what happens there. Basically, it's like there's like events and there's like cafeteria, like when you go into like camp and if you go to summer camp, it's very much like you went
Yeah.
to summer camp as a kid. There was like rock climbing and there was archery and there was games and there was it was on the lake, so you could go
I am back.
swimming. It was all the good stuff. Great food. You could smoke outside wherever and whenever you wanted. You didn't have to participate in anything if you didn't want to. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Should look that shit up. Hold on. Camp Canna, you say, eh?
Yeah. They have one in Alberta too, actually. For anybody who's in the chat in the Alberta area, which I know
See,
Alberta is a giant province, but
let's go on a tangent here. I watched a movie this week.
Oh.
An old school movie, man. Old school movie. If you want to guess which one, I'll drop clues. And then let's see who gets it first, right? So it's about an author. And he's driving his car in the snow. Car crashes.
Oh. Misery.
what movie?
Whoa,
Misery.
John gets it. Pow, son. Pow. Yeah, you ever seen Misery before, Margaret?
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah, great film, man. Kathy Bates crazy in
good.
that movie. She's crazy in all the movies I find. But
Yeah.
damn, that one's crazy, man. Damn.
Break them ankles so you can't walk off.
Spoiler
Well,
alert.
that is like
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. That movie's like 30 years old. Like, that was like the worst scene I've ever seen. Like I still remember. I don't remember almost anything else about that movie except for that scene.
Yeah, 'cause I seen Misery when I was younger, and the wife had never seen it. And all I could really remember about the whole film was that ankle breaking scene. Savage.
That's lunacy.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
Yeah,
good movie though. Like I like it.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Good movie. It's Stephen King, isn't it? So it's usually it is a good movie. There's some that weren't so good, but there are some good, but good movie. I enjoyed it. I was gonna watch
Crazy Cat
Interstellar,
Lady.
but that's fucking 3
yeah,
hours
I remember you
long,
said that.
man.
Yeah.
I ain't got
That's
no
a
3
long one,
hours
yeah.
to watch a fucking movie.
Watch it over 2 nights then.
Shows. That's why I like shows.
I don't know about watching over 2 nights either.
Why? It's like a good old fashioned to be continued.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Pretend it's
I
night
think
TV
I
or
might
something.
have to do that because I don't think when I was young I had time and shit to just watch long ass movies like that, and because there was a certain time when all the movies suddenly became 3 hours long. Lord of the Rings, the fucking all those Harry Potters, the Avatar movies, Titanic, everything just suddenly became 3 hours. Like it was acceptable. So no, I like hour and 20 minutes, 80s movie. You know what I mean? Done.
Yeah.
And still had better character development than this bullshit we get nowadays. Just saying.
I don't
Just
know. Have you
saying.
seen Severance?
No, I haven't. Apparently, it's really
No.
fucking good.
It is really good.
Okay, no spoilers.
They
I'm gonna
only
watch
release
that one too.
episodes once a week, like they used to do. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch the entire thing all over again too, because there's like so many little.
Yeah, sounds good.
For a movie person, Macky, you've missed some really good shit, ain't you? Really.
Why am I a movie person? I'm not really a movie person.
Well, you are, but you're not. You
Yeah,
like
yeah.
good films, but
Yeah.
so you have missed some quality films because you said
Absolutely.
you've watched some right shit.
Yeah, yeah. I've
So,
watched
yeah,
some
yeah.
right shit as well. You know, sometimes you just get to the
Yeah.
end and be like, "Fuck, that wasn't worth it." You
Yeah.
know.
I
But
watch
then
a
you
lot
saw-
of movies that are that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. But still, I'm
Yeah.
I'm halfway through something now.
What is it?
I like it. Oh, it's a documentary.
Okay.
It's about from where I'm from.
Oh, cool.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, man. There's always some good shit to watch out there. You know. But
Yeah.
have you all seen The Monkey? That's a new movie out
I
there, isn't
don't
it?
know
With
that
that
movie.
that little
No, I
symbol
haven't
monkey
heard of that
teddy
one.
thing. I haven't seen that, but that one does look interesting.
No, I don't see new films because you have to illegally download them and all that shit. I don't do that.
That's right, Billy. That's right. It's very wise of you.
My goodness.
Yes, very wise.
Yeah, no spoilers there, Super Reefer Mon. Programmed VHS era. Okay. Yeah, man. Remember VHS? When we were speaking about VCRs earlier, I wondered how much of our audience actually doesn't even like know what a VCR is, or at least
Yeah,
never
tell me
owned
you're
one.
old without telling me you're old.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
remember VHS. I remember when there was
I
also
remember
Beta.
Betamax.
yeah.
Yeah,
I can't really
Laserdisc,
remember those. So I
baby.
was a little young for those.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think VHS took supremacy like pretty quickly by the
Yeah.
time I was watching movies, but yeah.
I think I watched the very first Superman on Laserdisc when I was
Wow.
probably like
Oh, Laserdisc. That
6.
was like a trend for a hot second.
Mhm.
I remember those.
Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blu-ray, that was another thing.
Yeah. Gone.
Oh,
Gone.
God.
Yeah. It's all downloadable shit now.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, you know. Like my PlayStation doesn't even have a disc drive anymore. Everything's just digital
know.
now. It's
'Cause you were
crazy,
too
isn't it?
cheap.
Crazy.
You
But
didn't
then
buy
a
the
lot
one
of
with
the
the disc
times
drive.
you don't even like do you own it? If you buy something, do you own it?
No, apparently not.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
No.
Yeah.
So there's like this resurgence for people to buy like DVDs and CDs and like all this non-digital stuff because they can
Yeah.
never take it out of your cold dead hands.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
They
right.
can when they come kicking off your door.
Well, yeah,
Take all
but
your
I mean,
shit from you.
they're gonna kick
Yeah.
down my door for my CD collection. They're gonna be pretty disappointed. So
Right.
They won't have to collect
What's all
it
this Shania Twain?
So they won't need to collect it from your cold dead hand because they just vaporize you. You won't even have a cold dead hand.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, even that's
Be like
changed.
the Daleks or aliens that come along, but it'd just be the government with their Dalek ray guns going zap, gone. Welcome to future technology. Like
Right.
you only find out about it just as like you get zapped by it as well. It's like, oh look, they got a zap gun. Bish. Like, yeah, there you go.
Beershed.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds kind of like you'll never know what hit you, and that works for me. So
There you go. So
Right.
at least there's some positive in that.
yeah, if you're
Yeah.
vaporized, then
But-
alive one
oh,
minute, vapor the next.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
hang
the
on, you
billionaires in a
don't have to
submarine.
worry though, do you? Because like you're the alien, you'd be the one doing the vaporizing.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's just
True.
true.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
See,
you're
see,
angry
it's
with
true.
that.
She just admitted it.
That's
I'm
right.
trying to
She's not
fit in.
fooling
Yeah,
us.
it's not fooling us. She just admitted it. You see, it's true. She just
But
said
it's
it's
like
true.
it's like if you get vaporized, it's like the billionaires in the submarine that just got squished.
Allegedly.
Yeah, let's see.
Allegedly.
I told you, it was her cousins that done it. That's why she's so mentioning the submarine people again.
Mhm.
Well, I was
It's a
just thinking
warning
about
to
the
everyone
speed
else.
with which they got squished.
It's subliminal warning to everyone. Don't mess with me, or I'll zap you like a submarine's being squished.
Oh God, I wish I had that power, but it would be real handy sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
There'd be less cashiers anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
so yeah, are we ready to talk about some outdoor growing then? Does anybody need to get a drink? Did you all do that before we move on?
I got a drink.
Yeah.
I got a drink.
Yeah,
Did we even smoke? I mean, like
Yeah,
I did.
everybody
Yeah,
everybody just
I'm
like was
smoking.
like, well, you didn't.
I
say it,
vaporized
it's
some cannabis, like Billy's getting vaporized by alleged aliens.
Yeah.
Boozed.
Go.
Did you say you were getting a drink, Billy?
No, I've got mine because I was being professional and bought a carton with me before the show started, so I can just refill while I'm here.
Well, look at
Oh
that.
wow! Billy's on the
Mackie, how
ball,
come you
isn't
don't
he?
have a fridge by
Yeah.
your computer?
No,
Just
it's
a little
behind me.
fridge.
It's not by my computer because you don't have don't want your fridge by the computer.
No,
You
that's
might
yeah.
spill your drinks on it.
Well,
So the other side
in
of
the
the room, the
room,
fridge.
like, you know,
Yeah, it's in the
It
room.
might be a good idea, actually, John. I might have to
It
do
you
is.
that.
should get one.
So then I can
Advice
keep
if you're
my
going to
ketchup in
get
the
a bigger
fridge.
one. Don't get
That's
the
right.
small mini fridges because I've got a small mini fridge and it's not that good. You want
Yeah,
the
that's it.
bigger.
Yeah, they're shit, aren't
Mini
they?
fridge.
They don't. They
Yeah.
just blow air around. Really, they don't
Yeah.
refrigerate anything.
You want a proper fridge. You want to spend like 120 quid on a proper refrigerator, little mini
Wait,
fridge with the clear door. Do you know your Coca-Cola fridge?
Jesus Christ, that's what you pay. You pay that for a shitty one here. Like the
Yeah.
ones with a nice door is way more expensive than that.
Yeah. Well, you're America. You have like double everything.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
America, fuck yeah.
Mm,
That was a
Is
movie.
that basically yeah?
Ah, that
that
should-
should
that
motherfucking
is so
day,
good.
yeah.
That's what their fridges are. That's what their fridge. So when you open the doors, that's what it says. It goes, America, fuck
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
what an epic movie!
And then
man.
there's the ketchup
Ah,
sitting there.
damn,
What's an
yeah.
epic movie?
Team America. It's like
Yeah,
I
Team
want to
America.
watch that movie with my kids, but they're still not old enough, man.
Oh.
That whole
Yeah.
fucking puppet sex scene, and you
That's a
know,
little-
You got to be 25 to see that film, ain't you?
you
Really,
know what I
think?
mean? It's-
You should be.
Even
funny.
18-year-old to be whoa.
Yeah,
Where are we going with
You
this?
know what I mean? And it's just watching with your kids, just awkward, isn't it? You know.
They'd be like,
It's
Dad
a
ain't
bit,
even joked about that yet. Shit.
Mhm.
The great thing about that movie too is because it's all done in puppets, it really it really holds up over time. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you watch a movie and you're like, oh, it was so funny, and then you're like, oh, the hairstyles and the acting was so.
Right.
Yeah, I get what
But-
you mean.
Team America doesn't have that issue because
Right.
it's
Mhm.
It's
so
puppets.
ridiculous. Oh,
Yeah,
That's
Epic.
why the Muppets do really well now, do you think? Because it's
Mm.
just timeless.
Yeah, maybe.
Kermit the Frog's always Kermit the Frog.
Mhm.
If you watch Kermit the Frog from like the 70s and then you watch Kermit the Frog from last week, he's still the
It's the
same
same.
Kermit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Have you
still the
seen
same.
Have you seen all them Kermit the Frog videos on like what's it called, that chat roulette? You know those, and he's just
No.
sitting there, comes up and then like I've got something to show you. You know,
He is funny.
And then
yeah,
he
that
lifts-
is funny. yeah.
he lifts up a fucking pickle.
Lipstick. Yeah. I need the lipstick. I've seen the lipstick one where he uses the lipstick and pushes it in and it goes up and down.
Funny, funny. Yeah, check
Proper
those out on
funny.
YouTube, everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, Matt Damon. You know, I'm saying Green Grows funny. Anyway, that's it. Enough of a tangent. Let's talk about some outdoor growing, shall we? I think we shall.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So on episode 34 of the Grow Guides, and now it is becoming springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere, and summertime is on the way as well, so people need to consider if they're going to be growing outdoors this year. And the answer should be yes. Even if you're growing somewhere where it's prohibited, you can get yourself a gorilla grow on or something. You know, you don't necessarily have to do it in your back garden, but you can give a seed a chance somewhere. Just go plant it somewhere, or start indoors, as we would recommend, as you'll find out as we go through the show. And then maybe when harvest time comes, you might end up with some delicious sun-grown cannabis. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Delicious.
Some outdoor growing. And this is something I've never done successfully because, it's the UK and the weather's shit and so are the laws. But you've grown outside, didn't you, Margaret? You grew last year.
Oh, I've grown outside a bunch of years. I wouldn't say I've ever produced anything really fantastic because growing conditions do matter, but
Mhm.
I usually grow something outside every year.
Nice. What about you, John? How's things around your way for growing outdoors?
Yeah, we grew last year. We had a pretty decent sized greenhouse, and then I grew some in my backyard. Everything turned out amazing.
Oh, cool. Nice then. So he was getting enough light and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Minnesota's pretty good, and we got great soil here. So
Nice. What are you saying, Billy? You tried this before? You grown something outdoors successfully?
Well, it successfully grew a plant, but what had come off of it wasn't nothing. We get too much fog here. We grow
Hmm.
we grow a couple in the garden every year, just in the plant pots. We've
Yeah,
got
but
a couple what have already been to the seeds, have already popped their little heads up
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
fucking tulips and shit. So,
That's what I found as
but
well. It's like it doesn't produce high quality shit, like you get
yeah,
with indoors. It produces good stuff. Don't get me
Right.
wrong, but it really needs the correct conditions to produce that high quality top shelf buds. I feel.
yeah,
I
it's sort of.
agree.
I do it for fun. Or what Caroline
Hmm.
does it. She
Hmm.
plants, puts some seeds in some soil, and they normally just grow. So
And,
yeah,
and it's not like you're going to produce shit stuff. You're still going to have decent weed, better than you'd be
Right.
buying from Trevor down the road. So you still do it, but you really need the right conditions. You know, the
just do it for
UK
fun,
usually
really.
isn't good enough. And hope for the best. Yeah, do it for fun and hope for the best. Yeah. So anyway, some of the main benefits here for growing outdoors is obviously the electricity prices. Them grow lights and fans and stuff that costs a lot of money to run, especially here in the UK because energy prices are fucking extortionate here, and you can't grow outdoors either because so we're fucked. But anyway, so growing outdoors is a nice cheap way to do it. And if we do have a good summer where we get consistent good weather for a long period of time, then yeah, you're going to be able to produce some high quality sun grown cannabis. But getting enough good weather to make the plants live happily and produce high quality shit, that's not likely to happen here in the UK. You just got to try your best and do what you can. But obviously, it's just planting a seed outside in the right conditions and in some good soil, and that's all you're going to have to do. It's just the cost of a seed
Yeah.
at this point. You say something
Yep.
there,
You went
Margaret?
professionally. You went professionally quiet there, mate. You
Yeah,
either
you
muted
cut
yourself, or
out.
you lost, or you
No, no,
lost.
no. It's like the same time every week, isn't it? Like when we
Yeah,
get to
yeah.
this
You know what? You're
time,
probably
yeah.
right.
And I
weird.
lost 74 frames. Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe they must
Same time
switch
every week.
something over. It would something to do with your internet. Or
yeah,
something.
maybe it seems that way. It seems like something goes on at that time. Yeah, but anyway,
Mm.
and when I go to the Zoom recording, it's all there. Zoom's caught everything.
Right.
There's no
Huh.
gaps.
That's strange.
That's when they
Strange.
download all your information.
That's
It's
right.
it's so weird because it
Correct.
goes out for us in Zoom, but for you it records it. That's so crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Weird, eh? Weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on.
Yes. So now again, like we did last week and the week before, let's say something that's gonna combine us back to where we were nicely. So,
That's
yeah,
right.
grow outdoors, everybody. If you can, it might be difficult, but it's still worth it. You're only planting a seed in the ground. It's gonna cost a fiver, £3 to £5 or something. Not even a very expensive seed. Sometimes you can get them for free. So, what have you really got to lose by just planting a few seeds outside? And of course, if you're doing it in a place where it's still prohibited, then you might want to do a guerrilla grow. So then you just got to go plant it somewhere. You don't even look after it. You just go plant it and hope for the fucking best. Anyway, obviously it's cheaper and it's good to grow cannabis outdoors in its natural environment. You're going to produce some high quality cannabis and, for a ridiculously low price, And it's just a nice natural way to do things. So them are some of the benefits of growing outdoors. But that whole cost saving thing, that's one of the bigger pluses to this whole growing outdoor thing. But anyway, so what kind of climate are you growing in outdoors then, Margaret? It's going to be cold, isn't it? You guys have really hot summers, actually, don't you? Your whole temperature
Yeah.
thing's fucked.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, cannabis likes a warm, sunny climate with low humidity and long daylight hours, which we might get for like a second,
Yeah, for about 2 days,
for like 2 days. But yeah, I mean, I tend to, if I can, I'll grow autos a lot of the times just to make sure I have enough time to finish my plants off. But yeah, we do get some pretty, like the summer days are long and it can get really hot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Got to watch the humidity though here.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know how it is up there. It gets
Probably
humid here when it gets hot.
Yeah. It's probably pretty similar to you, actually, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably similar to us as well. I think you may even have bigger extremes because you guys have definitely been colder than the UK has been this year.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the main thing is the amount of light that's going to be put onto the plants throughout the grow season, you know. And this is why you need somewhere that's as close to the equator as possible. The closer to the equator, the better it's going to be, because it needs that nice intense light and shit.
Which I am not.
Oh.
But I'm
Yeah,
going to do it
same.
anyway.
That's right. It's still going to work, isn't it? It's still going to work, but it's not going to.
Yeah, of course.
It's going to take that light and turn it into food. That's what plants do. So the better quality light it can get, the better quality plant it's going to produce at the end of the day. So yeah, if you're in you know, California, Spain, Australia, well, some places in Australia, you know, there's you know, if you're in a good place to grow cannabis, if it's nice and warm and you have these real good summers, then yeah, man, smash it. Plant some seeds outside, you know. So, and what you want to do as well is, before you even plant these things outside, and this is why I want to do this episode now, you know, mid-March, is you want to be planting these things outside in like April time. So if you prepare now, then you can grow them indoors for a couple of weeks and get a couple of weeks head start on that. And you know, they're going to be more likely to survive because they're going to be a bit stronger. You know, they're going to be a bit bigger. So yeah, this is why I want to do this now. So if you are going to be doing some growing outside, you want to pick your seeds and plant and get them planted and germinated. So a couple of weeks time, you can go and plant them outdoors somewhere nice. But yeah,
If
when's
you're
good
doing,
to? Sorry, Billy.
I was gonna say, if you're doing autos, you can plant probably beginning of June as well, just
Yeah,
because
man.
they're definitely gonna finish just before the end
Yeah,
for the
They'll
fog
be
comes
done. They should be
and the
way
mist.
done by then.
yeah, and there's these new seeds as well, which you spoke about. We did the gorilla. The South Gorilla Army came on the show recently. He was telling us about these fast versions, which are like photo periods, but with a very short flowering period, like 6 weeks flowering
Right.
rather than 8 to 10. And you know, so you're gonna get a long veg out of it then, like fucking maybe 8 weeks, 10 weeks, maybe even longer for the veg. So then the plant's gonna be bigger, and then it's just got a quick flowering cycle, so it's done sooner before that cold sets in at the end of the autumn and fall. You know. So they seem to be quite promising. If you're going to grow outdoors, you're in one of those northern hemispheres where it does get cold and rainy towards the end of the grow season, so you're at risk of mold and rot, then definitely check out some of those fast versions, because they're going to be done a couple of weeks sooner than the other plants would have been, and that can make a huge difference. You know, the weather turns quick at that time of year. So when should you be planting these seeds outdoors then, John? What do you think? You plant seeds, planting cuttings? What's the plan?
I planted cuttings, but I don't know. I feel like you should start them inside, you know, before April. Get them growing so that they're established, and then you know you're gonna want to plant outside, depending on where you're at, in between April and June. I planted the beginning of June last year, and all my plants were like a foot or better tall, you know.
Right, so you
And
can
we
like
planted
4 weeks
some.
inside.
Yeah. Some of my clones were a lot longer than that, but yeah, like a month, you know, get it well established in a month, and all mine were in like a gallon pot, you know.
Right, so you haven't
So
planted
it
in
was
the
easy
ground,
to
you just
transplant.
straight in the pot, yeah?
Yeah. I put them in the pot because I mean, you're risking so much doing it outside, first of all, and if you're just planting a seed, well, you got to be cautious. Animals and things, you know, so you want to be.
That's it.
The bigger the plant is when you put it in, the better chance you're gonna have, man.
Yeah, that's right, man. Seedlings are far less likely to survive than quite an established plant, aren't they? You know?
Yeah. And I will say that talking about autoflowers, you can kind of plant them anywhere in between. You can start them early, like Billy said, in June. But I mean, you
get
could
two
probably
harvests out then. You get two grow cycles if you're lucky.
yeah. If you have a long enough season, you can, you know. But I did start mine inside. I grew 3 autos last year outside, and I started those in pots too and transplanted them. I was kind of worried that maybe it might stunt it, or it might be a problem, you know, because they were kind of already getting big.
Right.
But they were fine. They went good. So
Sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, man. It's highly recommended, everybody. Don't just plant a seed outdoors. I mean, if that's the way you have to go, then that's the way you have to go. But it's best plant them indoors. Give them a few weeks if you can. You know, 4 weeks maybe. You get them get a decent root zone built on them, a decent size structure on the plant itself, and that's going to be far more likely to survive outside because once it's out there in the elements, it's got to deal with the cold, it's got to
Right.
deal with the wet, the slugs, snails, fucking foxes, deer. There's all sorts of crazy things, rabbits.
Yeah. You can
Those shit
mitigate some of that if you have like a small greenhouse or something, then you could
Mm-hmm.
I've
potentially
never
do
had
that and be
rabbits
successful.
bother my weed plants, personally.
Cool. Well, that's
We
good.
didn't either. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if rabbits actually will eat your weed.
I'm just thinking
Deer-
of them like hopping past and just kicking it over or some shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, if they're small, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be.
But it probably won't
Mhm.
happen. But chances are there. But yeah, if it's in your back garden, I suppose you won't get those animals either. But it depends on what you're doing, where you're growing. When you're outdoors, you got to consider these things. When you're finding a spot, you got to pick the right kind of location to make sure that the plant's going to survive, or at least increase the chances of it. So when you're looking for a spot, then Billy, you want to talk about finding a nice spot to plant plants outdoors?
Yeah, well, obviously, like the griller stuff, you go back to the griller cycle for that. So I'm a bit stoned there. Nah. The they won't come out again. The previous episode we had last week or two
The
weeks
previous
ago?
interview,
Yeah.
with South
But
Korea, he's playing some good things.
yeah, but really, you're looking for your own property would be the best bet. But obviously, you're looking for the sunspot. Really, 8 hours of good sun, solid sun. Obviously, no wind. You want as little wind as possible because you don't want early wind damage to your early plants. So, if you get a lot of strong winds, then try and somewhere what's got a little protection from. You can maybe create your own protection. If you've got a greenhouse, that's probably obviously the best bet. Greenhouse, massive greenhouse outside with good circulation and all that. But really you want to make sure that like it says here, like the flooding, but that's really really important to make sure you're not in somewhere that's where you're going to get too much root damage, because the roots on the outdoor plants get really deep and can spread out well, so what creates the monster plants. So if you can find a good area where the roots can get real good sort of spreadage and not too much flooding, like aerated roots, so prodding the ground to be, I suppose, your best bet, isn't it? Using a fork and all that, see how far down the stones are, how stony the ground is underneath, and that. So, knowing your ground, I suppose, is probably the best thing if you own property. Knowing where stuff grows. If you've got a lot of nettles growing, I would say that's going to be a good space because nettle roots grow quite deep.
Yeah.
So that'd be a good area to then dig up and use. So it's things like that. So it's knowing your garden and your space is really the most important part, and it's getting good sun and good wind protection and not too much like flooding. Sort of at the bottom, not at the bottom of your hill, sort of halfway up your hill. If you've got a hilly garden, halfway up the hill is fine because then it's all the water's just going to run down and off of it. Like it's on the side of a mountain sort of thing. That'd be a good spot. That'd be protected from the wind from certain sides if you get an easterly wind or westerly wind, depending where you live. So know your environment, I'd suppose, would be my best advice for that in your own garden, which most gardeners do if it's their own space, know their own environment. So that's what you're looking for. But I would say greenhouse would be my best spot if you could.
Yeah, I would just be concerned about airflow in a greenhouse.
Yeah, and that just aerated. Yeah, just depend. Not a small greenhouse. You'd want a big aerated greenhouse where something where you can grow regularly in any way. So, but yeah, or just do you know you get like the wind protectors for the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They work well. So if you get one of them, dig that in the ground hard to protect your plant, and then you'd be fine. You won't get too much wind bashed if you get a really windy conditions, because I get quite a windy garden here. So if I grew a big plant, I'd want to protect it like that, but we don't get the sun to bother. If you know what I mean. So it's
so far then you've got some, you've germinated some seeds, or you've got some cuttings. They're a few weeks old, so they've got a decent root structure and decent structure to the plant itself. And you're going to go find your place to plant these things. Now, you can go in a pot if you want to, but we'll cover that in just a second. But it's going to be once it's exposed to the elements, if you're digging it into the ground, then that's a different way you can do. But you want to protect them a little bit too. So maybe if there's a lot of slugs, maybe use some. The South Korea Army said put some beer in like a dish, and then slugs will go to the beer rather than the plants. So that's cool.
Really?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. But you can use some chicken wire over them if that's necessary to make sure that no animals can get to them and shit. You just got to be careful, really. Just hope for the best, Make sure that it isn't any place where you know it's going to get infected with something. You got to keep them bugs away. So bear that in mind as well. But there's nice, simple ways where you can prevent the chances of something bad happening to it by using some chicken wire and some propellant and shit. But so you might want to plant this shit into the ground, but if the ground is bad, like it's got too much clay and all that, then you might also want to just dig a hole and fill it with some decent soil, right? Do you want to talk about soil here, Margaret? What kind of soil? I mean, because you've
Living
grown
soil.
outdoors, of course. You've grown outdoors, Margaret. So what kind of soil did you plant your plants into? Was it good?
Well, I used to grow them in pots, so I'd use like soil that I built, like the living soil. Last year I planted them in the ground, and then I filled the hole with some of the living soil just because I figured it would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want like loamy soil that's going to hold the nutrients and drain well, but retain moisture, which
Mm-hmm.
is obviously the ideal. We all want that, but yeah, I'm gonna plant
Yeah.
them straight in the ground this year too, I think.
You think it was better results straight in the ground than it was in a pot?
Uh, well, no. But when I was growing at my old house in the pots, like the growing conditions were actually pretty shit. There was too much shade in my yard
Right.
to really get good results. And last year, I just got my grow started so late and I ran into issues because I was like out of the country and then I don't know, I was just had issues. So this year I'm actually pretty excited to see what happens if I put them, because I'm going to start them indoors and then put them right in the ground. And I think I've got some spots marked out to get a lot of sun, so
Nice.
kind of looking forward to it this year.
Yeah,
Not
it's
gonna
such an
lie.
important factor, that whole
Yeah.
making sure it gets enough sun, that 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight per day. Some plants don't
Yeah.
like a lot of sun, and some plants love it. Cannabis is one of those that love it. So at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight per day. And one of the benefits, though, about having these things in pots, because you can put them in the ground, obviously, you can fill the hole if you need to. But when it's in pots, you can move it. So if there's, like over in Australia this week, they had some cyclone pass by, and then you got a chance to bring your plants indoors if that's going to happen. But if it's stuck in the ground, it's stuck in the ground. You just have to hope for the
Hope
best.
for the best.
Yeah,
Well, that's
yeah.
what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's not likely that you're
It's
going to have to
exciting.
move it, though, is it? It probably will be
No.
fine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have problems with that though, you can stake the ground too. I had to do that with one in my backyard because it would have snapped right off, man. We had some pretty high winds last year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But these things are like evolved for a very long time to grow outdoors, so they know what they're doing once they get up and running. I think that those early stages and you make sure the environment's good, make sure the soil's good, and don't plant it out too soon. And you should be good after that. You should be able to just let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Once it gets to a certain size, it's not going to get eaten by a random animal just crossing by and being like, "Oh, that looks tasty." Hopefully,
The
not.
only thing I have heard that deer really like eating
Yeah.
weed.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Apparently
never
so.
experienced that yet, and I haven't seen any deer where I am except once. But
Mhm.
yeah,
I,
it was a little
I'm
faster.
pretty sure I had some come through my yard last year and eat
Oh,
off of my
really?
one plant. Yeah, because I live right on the edge of town, and they walk through all the time through my backyard. So some of my plants were in like a smaller greenhouse, so they couldn't get to that one or them.
Mhm.
But my big plant, man, I'd go out there every once in a while. I'd see the little tops off.
Yeah, little bastards.
Yeah,
Sorry, Billy.
someone I know had problem with deer eating their hemp, so they had to get like proper fencing and shit for it.
Yeah, I've heard deer can be really problematic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Not
problematic.
like I've never seen rabbits or squirrels or chipmunks, which are all over the place here. They haven't.
Hmm.
For the turkeys that came through, they left them alone. So
Yeah, man.
Damn
Gotta be
deer.
careful with them deers going to eat your weed, everybody. So yeah, you have to think of different ways which you can protect them. You want to talk when you spoke about a few different ways you can protect the plants there, John. But there's other ways, man. You want to speak about some of those?
Sure. Feel like we're jumping around a little bit. Um,
Old
we are a little
man with
bit.
a shotgun.
I mean, right? Yeah. So you get that guy, but I mean, you got a
Scarecrow.
greenhouse. Greenhouse is your best way to go if you really need to protect your stuff, you know.
Mhm.
But chicken wire or fencing, I don't have that here. You're gonna want to use that because, well, especially in the earlier stages, right? You're gonna want to use that chicken wire fencing
Yeah,
just to protect it a little bit. But I don't know. Otherwise, if you have a fenced-in backyard, you know, I mean that's great. That'll
Mhm.
help you out. You want me to go on to other stuff like companion plants and things?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The-
pests and stuff are bad. You're gonna want to plant some companion plants if you can. Basil, marigold, and garlic are really good. They repel the pests. If you don't have that option, which you should be able to outside, you can use oils. Neem oil is one. Insecticidal soap. You can get predatory insects, which I am very well versed in. We have a lot of ladybugs around here, man. They're
Sweet.
everywhere.
Yeah, they love it, don't
Yeah.
they? They eat loads
Yeah.
of shit.
Yeah, yeah. And some people use praying mantises. I've never had one. I've never thought of ordering one, but yeah, man, just keep those bugs off your plants if you can. But if you,
Wouldn't they just fly away though? It wouldn't be a bitch to like
Yeah,
spend
no.
$20 on praying mantis and then they just like
Mhm.
this is a bit shit. I'm off. You can't
Well,
put a
I
lead
think
on
you
them,
gotta pick.
you know.
Well,
I
pests.
think you only get those if you've got a controlled situation because they're kind of expensive, aren't they?
I don't know. I've never bought any.
I think they're kind of expensive. And then, you know, so like, okay, if you have a greenhouse, sure, you can put him in the greenhouse. He's probably not going to escape. But if you're just growing in your backyard or something, is he going to stick around?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We didn't have too bad a problem with bugs last year, but we did with the autos. So I don't know if Margaret, have you had that problem at all
Of what, sorry?
with like bugs and stuff? Did you like, have you grown autos outside?
Yeah, I have. And one year I did get thrips. That was a few,
Yeah.
I think maybe 3 years ago.
Was it
Yeah.
bad?
It was bad enough. And then the whole, like, I grew it in a pot, and like I said, that yard that I had, there was so much shade that it was almost like, what am I fucking even doing? But it was,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
even
it
remember
was
what I did with that
aphids for
plant.
our autos. It was terrible.
Oh, so you're saying that autos seem to attract more pests, potentially?
I think part of the problem was because of when we started the autos, right? We put them in early
Mm.
so that by the time they were flowering was the hot and humid season.
Ah,
And I think that's what attracted it, or you know, attracted the bugs more.
so they're
Mm.
like really coming into flower in like July kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Instead of
yeah,
maybe August or September.
yeah.
That
So
makes
like this
yeah,
year, if we plant autos, I'll plant them late
right.
so that they finish along with the other stuff.
That's so
Give
dicey
that a
though,
shot.
because in our climate, like September can be fabulous, but it can also be shit.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I don't
it's a
know.
toss up for
Yeah.
sure. It's in October, you just never know what's going to
Oh
happen.
God, that's
When
also
October hits, it's like it's either going to be nice or it's going to be snowing. One of the two
Yeah,
is going to
yeah.
yeah. I mean, last year was beautiful, but then we got more snow this year than any other year in the last 5.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't know. It's always a crapshoot, really.
That's right.
right.
And this is why it's good to either do autos or those fast versions, so you can get it done before you even have to worry about that cold and wet weather.
Right.
You know?
It's so,
But
but it's a
but then
toss up
John's
though because
saying
of the
that
sunlight too, though.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the
Like,
days start to get shorter.
like here, we almost need to have into October. Like it's you got to have it
Mm.
if you're growing a regular photo.
Yeah, it's good because that's it. It's not just about the length of the day, like you're getting 15 hours of light per day or
Mhm.
something. It's about the intensity of that light that's coming down as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And you definitely notice the differences.
Mm.
You get into
Mhm.
September, October for sure.
Yeah, it's just not summertime sun, is it?
No.
No,
Mm-mm.
no.
It's not
But
that
honestly,
delicious warmth.
don't let this discourage anybody. Growing outside is fun. I really
It
like it.
is. It's amazing.
Even though
It,
my old place, like the growing conditions are kind of shit, I did it every year anyway. So
yeah.
That's it. You don't have to invest too much. You know,
No.
a
Right.
bag of
No.
soil maybe and a couple of seeds. You know, you can get
Yeah.
it done for real
Yeah.
cheap, man. It's not like growing indoors where you have to get the tent, extractor, fans, lights, and salt-based nutrients, all this stuff. You can do all of this just a couple of bags of soil and a couple of beans, and you can grow a couple of plants outside. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so it's highly recommended. And if you got cuttings as well, then you don't even have to pay for the seeds. Then do you? Just take a couple of cuts. Say you got some plants in veg indoors. Take a few cuts, man. Take some off the boat, grow some roots on that shit, go plant them somewhere. Why not? If you're out there this week or next week or over the next 3-4 weeks, right, and you've got defoliation to do on your plants, you can do some lollipopping and take off some of them bottom stems. Go listen to the episode where we said about making cuttings and turn all those into cuttings. And then, you might have 10, 20 of them with some roots on and just go plant them somewhere. What have you got to lose then? You're going to throw them away anyway. So why not, man? Why not just and then return at the end of fucking September, November time, and be like, oh look, I have like
There's a bush.
8 ounces of cannabis here. You know what I'm saying? You never know, man. Might as well give it a shot, right? You got nothing to lose. But and that's even if you're in the UK, you have to go plant them out somewhere where you're not going to see them again or visit rarely. If you're allowed to do it, you can just grow it in your back garden. Damn, it'd be rude not to. You got to plant some shit in your garden, man. Do it. But what we said about watering then, Billy? You say you've grown outside before, Billy, right?
A little
Just-
bit, just in
Just
the
in
back
your garden.
So
Yeah. So
watering
mate,
is just
go
the same as watering all other plants, really. Just keep an eye on the rain, and obviously we live in England, so we didn't really have to water them because we get lots of fucking rain.
that's
But
right.
yeah, it's keeping an eye on the. I would possibly consider the idea of leaving a bucket next to them as well to collect any rainwater. And shit like that. So, but yeah, it's just again, if they're in the ground or in pots, you just got if they're in pots, they're obviously going to need more watering more regularly because the air's going to get to them a lot more.
Yeah.
Dry out the soil. So yeah, it's just a case of knowing your environment again. But most of the time, sort of, it's irregular watering at the start because the water's going to naturally be quite damp from all the rain it's had over winter and stuff anyway. But summertime, you want to keep an eye on how dry your plants get, any wilting and stuff, and then you'd know like to add water, obviously. So you then know. Just to keep an eye on the weather is the main thing. If it's been really hot and sunny and there's been no rain, then you obviously think, well, my plants ain't had no water for this time, so they need this amount of water. So it's just a case of being on the ball, remembering really, keeping a watering diary, maybe just in case you're a bit forgetful in your work and where they are, you're unsure. So that could be help you. But yeah, just remembering what you're doing there is with your watering schedule. I suppose is the most important thing is remembering what you're doing.
Yeah, and being like you say, being in a pot is different from being in the ground as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like know your environment again, which is important.
Very easy to overwater, so just bear that in mind. Don't be watering them every day. And I think I've seen people say when plants are grown outdoors, if it hasn't rained for a week, then go and water them. If it's in the ground.
In the ground is very forgiving.
Yeah.
In that sense, man, because those roots they go and they'll find the water
down and down and down. Yeah, cannabis roots go really deep as well.
Yeah, man. But if it's in pots, you might have to do it every couple of days. Just to bear that in mind. The whole watering system.
Treat it as a normal watering, like living soil things. There's probably every 5 days. If it's been hot, then 3 or 4, depending on how much soil you've got there to retain the water. So if it's only a small amount of soil, then you need watering more regularly because it's going to dry and evaporate a lot quicker, isn't it? So you've got to keep it moist. So you got to keep it.
Now, proper sounded deviant that did, Billy.
Good. So yeah, it's just got to keep it right like that. Just remember what you're doing with the watering. That's all it is. Just think, oh shit, I've not watered my plant for 10 days. Fuck. It's like, nah. Like you've got a phone. Normally, most people keep a fucking schedule on your phone and an alarm clock going off. Check your plants for water every 3 days, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah, man. So that's all the easy bits done, isn't it? You know, water and it falls out the sky and shit. Well, what we're gonna do about nutrients? Because at some point, especially if you're in a pot and you're not in the ground, then the plant is probably gonna get hungry. It's gonna use up the nutrients that's available to it, and you're gonna have to supplement some of that shit. Especially if it's in bad soil. You know, if you picked good living soil to start with in the first place, then you might be okay to go through the whole grow without getting any nutrients. But sometimes you're gonna have to feed it some stuff as well. So you grow in living soil, Billy, and I think, in my opinion anyway, I would say that when people are growing outdoors like this, it's best to try and stick with the organics. You know, don't feed salt-based nutrients unless you really have to, and if it's in pots. You know, if it's in the ground, then stick to organics, because you might as well. You're doing it organic, just try and stick with the organic thing. So what would you recommend, Billy, for somebody growing outdoors to feed their plants?
A good roast dinner.
Yes.
Yeah, good roast dinner. That's what they should feed it. Well, it depends on like how much money you have, and if obviously if you're guerrilla growing, I will be spending like on proper organic supplements and shit like that. I'd just like let it do its thing, like, and maybe dig up some soil from nearby and throw it on top, if you know what I mean, just to make sure that there's added some fresh cheap compost or something, just to but mostly if you're growing at home, then you can start adding sort of like all the phosphorus and potassium stuff, really. So it depends on where you want to get it from, because like adding some back guano, fish emulsions, sort of old if you've got any worm bins and things like that, you could start feeding it like your worm shit and stuff like that, or your insect frass. So it depends on what sort of level of I suppose money you're going to be throwing at your outdoor plant. But there's loads of sort of like all the living soil supplements as well. If you get what I mean, sort of like your flower top dressings and things like that. I suppose you save your eggshells and shit like that, and to throw on top of it. I would say if you have eggs and just things like that. I would say if you're growing in your own garden, having your own worms bin is probably the best thing to start doing as well.
Just
because
mixing up some worm tea and just feeding that.
Yeah.
That's got plenty in it. You know, the
Yeah,
plant's gonna love that.
I was gonna say that's probably just the best thing you can do is just have a worm bin and have fucking worm shit tea sorted, and that's all you really need. And again, that keeps the costs down, because that's the whole idea of growing outdoor, isn't it? Is not having to pay for lights and fans and shit.
Yeah,
so.
man. And you can get some decent compost made pretty quick as well. If you check out Dr. Elaine Ingham, she can get some decent compost made within a week. So check that out. It's Soil Food Web, you know. And then some Korean natural farming methods as well would be nicely added outdoors. So if you need to know more about that, check out some stuff from Chris Trump. You know, Chris Trump's been on the show loads of times. He's got his website BioMay. That's Bio BIO, but May is MEI. So if you do Google search for it, you'll be able to find him. And he's got loads of cool shit that you can use in the garden organically using Korean natural farming methods. Very cool shit. But you know, there's also bottled nutrients you can use if you wanted to. You know, it just no, I don't know. Just there's some shit like adding salt to natural soil outside is damaging to it. Apparently, it kills off microbes and stuff like that. And I just don't like the idea of it. So if you are going to grow in pots and use salt-based nutrients, try not to give that shit to the ground. You know, collect the runoff and pour it away somewhere properly. I don't know. I don't know, man. I've just heard people don't like that kind of thing, and I can understand why. You know.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So that's when it comes to feeding, and I don't think it's much use checking the pH. You know, if you're in the ground, you don't need to check the pH so much. But if you are in pots, then do just make sure that the water you're feeding it is the correct pH, because you know there's less of a margin of error when you're growing in a pot there. Yeah, so everything's good so far, right? We've got these things planted outside. Let me just add, I think I said it earlier, but I just want to mention again, you know, if you are going to plant into the ground and the soil isn't good, just dig yourself a big hole and fill that with a load of good soil and plant your plant into that. The roots will spread out, but it's going to have access to a lot of good soil in the first place. Dig yourself a decent sized hole. And maybe if just a 50-liter hole or whatever that is, what's that, like 10 gallons or something? Deep enough hole to put a bag of soil in it, and then you can let your plant grow in that, and that will be very happy in that. So just bear that in mind if you got shit soil outside. There's still ways to plant it in the ground and hope for the best.
It's gonna grow.
So stick it in a moist hole, you're saying?
Brilliant. Right, so let's talk about some of these problems as well, because we spoke about bugs there and how to deter those, but there's the whole mold thing as well, and they if you've planted it too close to a fucking fence or something, so how can we prevent mold? John, how do you, because you've grown outside a few times, how would you prevent mold on your plants?
So the stuff that I grew outside and not in the greenhouse, I didn't have a problem with, but so a couple things. Choose a good strain or strains that are mold resistant if possible. Try to stay away from humid areas such as a greenhouse, and if you do have a greenhouse, put some fans in that thing. You want to spread them out. Don't pack them in there, because that's gonna cause problems with airflow. Towards late flower, you're gonna want to do your defoliate, trim those leaves up. I mean, you're gonna have a lot. So yeah, trim them up, thin your plant out so it can breathe. And then so again, with the with the greenhouse, you can cover your plants to protect them a little bit, but you got to still let them have that airflow for sure. You can move them around if you need to, move them under like an awning, or I don't know what you guys would call it over there, but
yeah, we would call it an
carport
awning,
or
I
something.
suppose. Yeah.
Just keep them dry. Don't let them get super wet. Obviously, you don't have any, you have no control over that when it rains a bunch, but just keep the airflow moving on them, because mold is a thing, and bud rot too. Bud rot, I feel like, happens more if it's up against a fence or up against a greenhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's something everybody need to consider when they're looking for a place to plant the plant initially.
Right.
Bear this in mind of how the plant's going to look in 4 months' time, and how big it's going to be. Is it going to be leaning against the fence? Is it going to be able to get enough airflow around it? Take these things into consideration when you're looking for a place to plant your plants in the first place. Needs plenty of airflow.
Yeah, give it room, because it's going to get big. If you're not topping it or training it or anything, the plant's going to get big. So it needs good space.
Yeah, and bigger than you expect, hopefully.
Yeah,
that's what you want it to be anyway. So at least 2 foot by 2 foot per plant, and that's like minimum. That's for a small plant. If you,
I'm gonna say
how big did your
5 foot
one?
by 5 foot.
Yeah, because they grow big outdoors, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you'd want at least 6 foot space just to make sure, sort of thing.
Well, Margaret, how big did yours grow?
Last year? Not big at all.
Right.
No, but I got them in really late. Like it was just kind of a disaster from start to finish. So that's why I'm looking forward to this year, because I would like to grow something bigger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It can be unpredictable how big these things can grow sometimes. But still,
yeah, it was kind of crazy in our greenhouse. We had, I don't know, 8 plants planted, and it was weird to see the different variations, because we planted multiple strains. But like, we had a Northern Lights, man, and that thing grew just like a round bush and got about 4 feet tall, maybe 4.5 feet tall. But then like all the other ones were like 6 feet easy, and they were 5 feet around.
Yeah.
Christmas trees. It was amazing, man.
And it's going to be difficult to hide those kind of things from your neighbors if you want to try and keep it secret,
Yeah.
So, and you can keep them smaller by keeping them in a smaller pot. If you're putting it in a 25-liter pot, then it's probably not going to grow to be one of those huge bushes. When it goes in the ground and it's got all the root space it needs, it can end up very big.
And topping and training it
Mm-hmm.
can help you keep it down too.
Indeed. Yeah.
If it's in a 25-litre pot, though, it'd be hard to keep your bush moist.
Jesus. You're just gonna keep going, Billy. You just.
well, he was quiet the whole first half
That's
of the
quiet,
show.
yeah, man. You
He's
said
built
to me
it up
not
now.
complain
Jesus.
about all the politics.
You know, like, Billy, don't say anything through the news, all right? And then when we get to the grow
Exactly,
guides,
yeah.
don't say anything, all right?
Oh, right. I never heard the second bit.
Oh, right, fuck. I would play it back to you, but I didn't press record.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, showing fault. Should have been a bit more professional, eh?
Indeed.
Oh man.
We'll try harder next week, you know?
Try harder.
So if you've been very lucky then, all right, say that you've grown a photo period plant and it's coming to an end, you've managed to get through the whole grow and no bugs have killed it and no animals have eaten it and no police officers have taken it and no, what do they call the guys who steal the crops? I don't know, there's a specific...
There a
There's
name
a-
for them?
Uh,
Yeah, is there a name?
yeah,
Assholes?
there's
Yeah.
some, I don't know, some crop name. Crop stealers or something, I don't know. Yeah, those fuckers who steal your plants, man. Well,
Do you mean
they
poachers?
no, there's a specific. No, do we call it Croptober or something? No, 'cause there's a specific term people use for people who steal cannabis plants.
Oh.
Anybody in the chat know what I'm talking about? Or am I just fucking losing my mind? I don't know. We'll see.
Never
Yeah,
heard of this
bastards.
before. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cants.
Fuckers, assholes.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
a lot of words.
Yeah, let us know what you think the word is in the chat and in the comments. You know.
Yeah,
No, don't
yeah.
look. You're getting us flags now. But yeah, you know, just if you manage to get to the end and your plant is ready, and man, and you're gonna actually cut it down, and you've grown yourself an outdoor cannabis plant and successfully, then you gotta want to know when it's good to be harvested. When did you decide your plant was ready for harvest, Margaret? Did you look for trichomes and shit, or was it, or did the weather force you to bring it down early?
It was probably a bit of both, but I always look at the trichomes with a little magnifier because I just like doing it. It's kind of fun. See all the trichomes. Yeah. I mean, what was it?
I agree.
Now my mind is
It is
blank.
cool.
Thanks, Macky. Who's the Swami? Just be like, just ask it.
Yeah.
But that's, always not very helpful, but I've heard him say that a few times.
Well, that's it. It's the same as checking to see if a plant is done indoors, isn't it? Wait for the flowering to start. There's going to be an estimated amount of time, like 8, 10 weeks, 12, depending on the strain you have. And then it's going to be ready around a particular time. You just got to hope it doesn't go too late, because if it does start heading into late October, gosh, it gets cold at those times of year, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Cold,
you're risking
damp,
frost too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're getting into potential frost territory, so.
Yeah. So around Halloween time, usually the harvest time, right?
Mm,
Oh, that's a long season.
yeah.
I would say Thanksgiving in Canada is usually like the first couple weekends
Okay.
of the month of October, so maybe around then.
Mm-hmm.
but-
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would say mid-October would be the latest you really want to probably go.
Yeah. You know,
In the northern hemisphere, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's it.
'Cause you
Lots
can
of things
grow
need to be
12
taken into consideration, don't they? That's the
Yeah,
thing.
you can grow 12-week ones down on the equator and stuff, man. It's not a problem where it is
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah, man. So it can be done. You know, I've still never done it successfully. I mean, the one time I planted a fucking plant outside, and it grew a little bit inside first, and then I put it in a bag of soil. Like I didn't even take the soil out and put it in a pot or anything. I got a bag of soil, and I planted the plant into it. It'll be fine. You know, it's just a big plastic pot, really. And then I've gone to have a shower. And then when I've came out the shower and gone back to the garden, I saw look out the window. I'm like, why is there soil just all over the garden like that? And my fucking dog, for some reason, had decided to just take the bag of soil and run around the fucking garden with it. Plant was there just lying dead on the ground. And what the fuck has you done that for? Fuck. So you bear that in mind, everybody. If you've got a dickhead of a dog, you know, just bear
Never mind
that
the
in
deer and the
mind.
squirrels. It could be your
You know
pet.
what I mean?
Yeah.
All
you
dogs
know.
are dickheads, though, Macky. That's the problem.
Yeah, but they're good
I mean,
dickheads. They're
Yeah, I know they're good dickheads, but they're all dickheads.
yeah. They would all do it
Mhm.
just for fun. Like,
Yeah,
"Ha-
exactly.
has,
Yeah,
has he gone?
just to
Has
see
he-"
your face.
And he just grabbed a bag and run around. It's like, cause you wouldn't think it, would you? You wouldn't think that your dog's just gonna grab a bag of soil and decide to run around with it. But yeah, on this occasion, he did. Wow. So that didn't work out great.
That's
But-
funny.
But still, it's worth giving a shot in it. Just pop some seeds, plant them outside, and cross your fingers and hope for the best. It's one of these things in the UK where you'll get to the end of the summer sometimes and be like, damn, that would have been a real good summer to grow. And then you get to the end of the summer and be like, wow, it's a really good job that I didn't grow anything outdoors this year. You just never know how it's gonna go,
Mhm.
man. So you just have to do it, and just hope for the best. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, worth
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
Worth
it's worth
having a
it.
go, especially if you've got the space in the garden and you grow weed anyway.
Yeah,
You might
yeah.
as well just take some cuttings and throw them outside, give them a shot.
Mhm.
Even if you don't get
Mhm.
nothing off of it, make some fucking hash. There you go,
Yeah, yeah.
garden
Yeah.
hash.
That's right,
Sorted.
man. So much you can do. You just give it a shot, hope for the best, and bear legality in mind, of course. Everybody, you want to keep yourself safe while you're doing that as well. Don't keep it too obvious if you're trying to keep them hidden. And even if you are growing legally as well, you need to keep it hidden because of those people who steal the crops, who we haven't given a name for yet.
He said
You know,
crop,
Crop
lifting.
lifting,
Crop
Yeah.
lifting, maybe that was it. I don't know.
scrumping
Not it.
is
That's
the
such
other
a
word
boring
as well.
phrase. You're a crop
Yeah.
lifter. Come on.
Yeah,
That's not what it is. That's not the term.
yeah. We need a new term, everybody. Let's work together on
If
this.
that is the term,
No.
we definitely need a new term.
We'll get one of those mind
Oh.
charts out, and we'll come up with a name over the next week. And see if we
Right.
can figure
Alright.
it
Like our
out.
Operation Spark. This will be our Operation Spark.
That's right. Let's go. So yeah, highly recommended that you give it a shot, everybody. Especially if you're growing, as we mentioned, and you can just take cuttings from a plant, grow some roots on that over the next few weeks, and then just plant it outside. When it might be bandits actually. I think I might have it there. Bandits. Yeah,
What?
crop bandits.
It's like from the 80s. They called everybody bandits.
Yeah, I'm from the
Yeah,
fucking
little-
80s. What's the problem with the
Smokey
80s?
and the Bandits, mate.
I
You know
feel
what I'm
like you
saying?
were talking about something else.
That has a better ring to it, but it doesn't really convey what a piece of shit that bandit is.
Right?
Sounds a little too
Shit
nice.
bandits. Yeah.
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 Just imagine them with those funny eye masks on that they wear and that stripy black and white jumper. you know,
Yeah.
And a
And they-
swag bag.
Tiny
Right?
cartoons. It makes me think of like raccoons or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Mhm.
Them too, they'll probably mess up your plant.
That's
Get
right.
your
Those away.
swag out.
I don't know, they might. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Aussie Jim's onto it. Maybe it's a Ripper. Yeah, I think that's what it is, isn't it? Because they rip them out of the ground. I think it might be Ripper. Maybe. I don't know.
I could
Let-
see that.
Let's just move on because obviously it's not that.
Trash
Could
bandits.
be fucking
Trash
anything.
pandas.
Yeah, trash bandits.
That's raccoons. That's what we call raccoons
Yes,
up here.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So give it a shot, everybody. Easy to do, relatively cheap, and it's just it's your responsibility to grow more cannabis outdoors. So get on it, and of course start a diary over on postsgrowing.com so we can take a look and see how your grow goes, and hopefully
Mhm.
manage to get to the end of the season there. But just quickly, any strains that we would recommend in the UK here? There's Purple Marek is a popular one to grow outside, but pretty much if you get anything from Dutch Passion or a Dutch breeder, that's kind of from the same environment of what the UK is. So just try your best with anything really. Give it a
Dutch
shot.
Passion have an outdoor range as well.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is so yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Durban Poison's also a nice one to do
Yes,
outside
indeed.
as well. So
And Northern Lights is another one as well. So
Yeah.
there's options out
Northern
there.
Lights was really good for me.
Yeah.
That was
Just-
a good one.
You just got to try and find what's good because when we say growing outdoors, there's people all over the world listen to this podcast. So it depends on
Depends on where you live,
where you are.
yeah,
So
environment.
look at what's good for you in your environment and just deal with it, man. You can do it. What would you recommend, Margaret?
Usually I just plant whatever I happen to have.
Yeah.
There's really a lot of rhyme or reason to it.
It's a good way to
I
do
mean, it
it.
tend to
that
be,
one.
yeah, like somebody sent me seeds not that long ago. I forget what they were, but I might just do some of those.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a
Okay.
mystery rhyme until I look at the
Nice.
package and look at the label. But yeah.
Yeah, man. What about you, John? What would you recommend around your way?
anything that flowers faster, man.
Yeah.
Around
Right.
here, for here, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
any
Yeah.
of those fast buds, or like what you were saying, the Dutch seeds and stuff,
Yeah, those fast
sativas,
ones. Yeah.
high
Mhm.
end sativas, probably a no-go around here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not going to do great.
Yeah.
No.
16 week flour on it and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't want none
you
of that.
can't do that up this far north, can you?
Yeah, Dr. Grinspoon's definitely a no.
That's right,
Yeah.
man. So give it a shot, though, everybody. So easy to do, so cheap, and so fun. So yeah, you could get a
It
good
is
return.
fun.
It might end up being shit and you don't get
Relaxing.
anything, but then you've only paid a little bit of money for a small error, but it might pay off and be good.
That's right.
Yeah. So with that, should we move to the listener mail, or is there anything else to add here about outdoor growing?
I think we covered it.
Pretty much
Yeah,
covered
man.
everything.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But of course, if you have questions, head over to the Discord or to percysgrowroom.com, linked in the description of the download. So just click there. But for now, let's go to listener mail.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. It's a good tune, listener mail tune. Right, so from GrowCat, we have like one series of questions from GrowCat, 1, 2, and 3 different parts. So good question here, good questions. I'll just start off. I have a good question for the show. I am on my second run using autopots, and the results are impressive. It does cause me to ask the question I have not been able to find an answer for yet. 1. Are running autopots considered hydroponics? Because technically, I could use any medium in them. Right, so autopots, I think what he's referring to are those plastic ones with the spikes on the holes in. Right, that's autopots. Yeah? Or are they air pots? What are autopots? Because what does he mean specifically by autopots? Does anybody know?
I think he means what you just said. Is with like the spike in them or the
black spike
cross of the but they I think AC Infinity makes theirs, and they have, it's just like a wicking rope that goes across the bottom, and you set the pot on it.
Right. Because the sip cups as well, the sub-irrigation pots. You know those ones? Where it comes from a reservoir and constantly gets wicked up as well.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I do, but I actually hang a neti pot in mine.
All right, yeah. So people are saying the spiky ones are air pots from Green Grocer. Yeah, that's what I thought. So the auto pots have a valve in a tray. No spike. They use a float valve. Yeah, so it's still not necessarily hydroponics, because hydroponics is more the medium that you're growing in. It's like if you had living soil but set up some auto feeders to water it a little bit every day. That doesn't make it hydroponics. It's still living soil. Right. It's just like you got an auto feeder. So it depends on the medium that's in the actual pot rather than the pot itself that makes something hydroponics. So I wouldn't say you should consider it hydroponics just because of the particular pot, right? You would agree with that, everybody?
Yeah, it's not hydro, and this is using a hydro medium like cocoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
if you use cocoa, Well, if you use cocoa, then you'd use
next part,
Yeah, man. So that's the first part of the question. Anyway, that's number one answered there. All right. So for number 2, he said, in my auto pots, which are these pots with the floating thing. I don't know what they said. A reservoir with a float, so when it gets over a certain amount, it feeds the plants or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So he said, in my auto pots, my medium of choice is Pro Mix HP. When creating grow diaries, this is over on percysgrowroom.com, we have the option of soil, cocoa, or hydro, but not peat. I have been using the soil option, but it does not act the same as soil, particularly regarding water retention. I do not want someone reading or me getting confused with how to handle things. Should I continue to use soil for Pro Mix in autopots, or should it be hydro, which is also not a great choice given I use microbial additives? It's a good point. Yeah.
I came across that problem too
soil
when I was
in
trying
a way.
to create a diary.
Isn't it?
'Cause
Peat's still a
I
soil.
use
It's just a
Chrome
peaty
Mix
soil.
Hold on. What's Billy? What do you say, Billy?
So peat is still a soil, isn't it? 'Cause it's
I
just
think
a
so.
peaty soil.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just peaty soil. It's a type of soil.
And John, you said you had that issue before starting a diary. What was you using peat?
Yeah, I didn't know where to put mine at. add either because I use ProMix BX.
Right.
You know,
And-
and there isn't one specific for that because you know, when I looked at it, I thought, well, I didn't really want to put it under soil because soil is more, it's soil. Peat is kind of like soil, but it's not soil.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
something that's added to soil, right?
Well,
Like peat is a good
usually
base
can-
for good soil.
yeah.
What do you think, Margaret?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whether
either.
it should be peat, like soil, or something else.
Yeah, is
Yeah.
peat
See,
soil or is it
the-
hydro?
But peat maintains the water more, doesn't it? It's
Yeah, I think so.
more heavier, so
And it
Yeah,
does
it's
have,
heavier.
and it's
It's
going to
not-
break down easier as well, and that will give
Mhm.
nutrients available.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen it
Yeah.
used as part of a soil. I haven't seen anybody use peat as a whole grow medium before. It's interesting.
So maybe it is more
Yeah.
like cocoa.
I
Mm,
treat it more like cocoa when I do it
right.
because it does like it pretty much acts like cocoa.
So maybe I should
It's-
we should have soilless mediums or something rather than peat. I don't know. Maybe it should go in
I'm not
hydro
sure on
then.
that one.
It's a tough
What
one.
is it?
But it's not really hydro, is it? I wouldn't consider.
It's-
Peat is
This is
no,
a
hydroponics.
real
it's
conundrum.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. Look
What's
what you've
going on?
done,
Put a-
grow
put a-
cats.
Need-
needs its own spot then, doesn't it? It needs to say peat.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't
Is
have
it-
like a question from Filmy Bowls that had us like totally confused about what we were talking about, but it happened anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks, Phil. This is your fault, Phil.
yeah, blame Phil. Yeah, man.
Yeah, interesting one, man. I'll think about that. Maybe we need but I don't see many diaries being started in peat either. So, to have a whole section just for peat, so there's going to be a few diaries in it, it just seems a bit redundant as well, So I have to
Or
think about
son of
that.
an
Think
other.
about, yeah, maybe an other. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
an
Anyway,
other.
yeah, because you said part 3 in the chat here. This cat grows. What's up? Yeah.
Well,
So the
part
third part
3
to this, part 3 to this question is when using
Fucking
synthetic nutrients, should I use ones for hydro, cocoa, or soil? Mate, you should just go to soil and make things easy on everybody here. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fucking live in
You're
soil,
traveling
you
too many worlds
bastard.
right now.
No, fuck off. Like, or,
Says that leads to what pH should I target? Like lower like hydro or higher like soil? I would, if it's not
5862.
soil, I'd go hydro. 6.2 would be good, isn't it? Because that's like the high end of hydro, low end of
Yeah.
soil. So,
So it's I run mine in between 5.8 and 6.2.
yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards treating it like cocoa at this point as well. That'd
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
like just a soilless medium like rock wool, like cocoa, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Margaret?
Yeah.
What do you think should he use synthetic nutes for hydro or for soil? What would you do in this situation if you were using peat?
You would probably, I would think cocoa or hydro, but not soil,
Mm-hmm.
personally.
Yeah.
But I have no experience with this anyway, so.
Same. And what do you think, Billy? Anything to add to that one?
I'd go use living soil.
That
Yeah,
wasn't
man.
the question.
But that's the answer.
Well, true.
A peat-based living soil, so you still got some peat in there.
Yeah, there you go.
Then everybody's happy.
Call it Terry.
What?
Terry.
Yeah, instead of Pete, it's Terry.
Oh.
Instead of terra, because terra's soil.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. I
Ooh.
like what you did there, Billy. Very, very nice.
yeah.
So I think to
Very
sum
good.
all of that up, the auto pots themselves not hydroponics. That's just the container you have for the medium, and the medium you use is what makes it hydroponics. So I think in this case, after all of this which we've discussed so far, I would consider using peat the same way you treat cocoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah. Aussie
Billy?
Jimmy says coot soil is 1/3 peat, so I
Yeah, yeah,
assume he uses that as the cocoa part of
Yeah,
the soil
what
mix.
Coot said as well. If you can't get peat, you can use cocoa instead.
So
it-
yeah,
it,
so
it
then,
seems like
then
the
I'd
same
use,
thing, doesn't it? Mm.
Yeah,
they're
I'd use
very
then the
similar.
cocoa.
Mhm.
Treat it as cocoa, then I would. Then if that's how it's used
Yeah.
by coat, then yeah.
But the same way you can use cocoa with microbes and shit like that, and organics as well, because some people do that with cocoa. You know, we
Yeah.
spoke to Scotty Real this week who does that. He grows cocoa with organic amendments in it. So you can do the same thing with cocoa as you are there with peat. As we like to say here, there's many ways to go swimming with a cat, and you're just figuring out your own way here. You know what I mean, Grow Cat? And
Fuck, I gotta write that down.
I had to explain that yesterday on Chad's show about why I say it like that. Because swinging cats is cool and skinning cats is cruel. So we go swimming with them as well, which is cruel-ish, but some cats do like to swim.
They don't like They don't like swimming.
Not all of them, some do.
Have
Right.
you ever seen a cat
Like
swim?
the large
Not
cats,
really.
like tigers and shit.
Well, maybe
Like,
that's
No.
true.
I can't keep quiet because when you go swimming with cats, you do get a wet pussy. So
Jesus, Billy.
oh,
You just
It
couldn't
never
help
is.
yourself.
I just couldn't hold myself back. I was fighting myself, but I lost.
It's like that, you know, that Homer Simpson scene where he's trying to hold in all the rage the whole time.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
these
that's it.
bumps start popping out on his neck. He just fucking loses it. That's Billy fucking going red in the face. No, don't say it. No. Yeah, anyway. So there we go. I think that kind of answers the question. I would definitely be treating it as cocoa. I think everybody agrees with that as well. Just treat it like cocoa. And you should be able to do just fine with that, bro. You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Treat it as cocoa. That's what I do.
Mhm.
Nice. Well,
I
I think
mean,
that's all the
basically
questions
the
then. We have everything covered. That's I mean, and as we get to the grow guides at the end all the time, I'd like to say, you know, that's as much as we feel is necessary to cover. But there's always more to this shit, man. These subjects, it's hard to cover absolutely everything. So there's going to be things that we've missed. And if anybody has any questions or, you know, just wants to discuss the topic of today's show, then, you know, drop a question in the chat, in the comments. You can find us over on Discord, or you can find us over on percysgrowroom.com. We're always happy to answer questions to the best of our ability. No,
right.
no matter how difficult they are, we'll give it a shot. You know, so yes. Don't be shy. Get in touch. But I think that's everything. We're ready to move to the outro?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
do
man.
it.
Let's do it. Come on, fade now. Don't be a fool. Come on, fade in professionally. Question, Aussie Jim, just quickly there. If you treat it as cocoa, does it still need CalMag? Yes, still get plenty of CalMag.
Yes.
I would
And,
anyway.
I mean, again, that's going to depend on what you're using as your nutrients, though.
Very true. Yeah.
Because like I use 2-part mega crop as a hydro, and I only add CalMag if I think it needs it, because it's already got it in that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good then. Right, good show, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button if you want to. No pressure, you know. Do it. Yeah, and subscribe if you're new as well. You know, if you're a subscriber, don't say that often. You know, we're not
Don't know that answer.
not that kind of
That's
channel
okay.
where we're like, yo, like, subscribe, blah blah blah. You know, we just do our thing. We have a good time with you guys coming here to join us on Sundays. So yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks. I hope you enjoyed the show. And that's about it. Is there anything else to add before we go? I mean, I know we could chat shit for ages about everything, but there's also things to do.
That's
Yeah,
right.
man. I don't think so. I think we did it.
That's right.
Oh, there's a quick link to Han Hash Club at the end
cool.
of the month. There you go, in the chat.
Nice. There you go, everybody. And Billy's looking
Get
for people
high
as
on
well. If
hash.
you make hash and you want to be on High on Hash Club, then get in touch with Billy. 'Cause
Yeah,
he wants
man,
People
just-
on his show.
If you make your own hash, I want normal people. No famous hash makers. Just normal bods who make hash and how you do it. Why do you do it? Or just how do you do it? Because there's a billion ways. So
Yes.
choose one and tell us about it.
Awesome.
I have a trim tray full of stuff right now.
Nice.
And
Make
I
some
was
hash
thinking
club.
about you the
Get
other
on it.
day. I was like, Billy would really love all of them.
Beautiful. Well, let's wave then. Let's wave, and we'll see you on Tuesday for the
Tunes.
interview with Vanessa.
One
Yes.
holding the chip and one holding the ketchup bottle.
Oh God, he's off. Let's get out of here, everybody.
Run. It's
Goodbye,
got the
everybody.
ketchup out.
Waving.
Waving.
Bye, everybody.
Cocktail hash. Did you grow cat? Very nice.
Yeah, I did.
Bye.